Ryan and GOP leaders used a rare procedural tool to prevent Senate Democrats from blocking the measure, but are well short of votes needed to override a sure-to-come veto. On Capitol Hill, Jared Halpern, Fox News.
Hillary Clinton calls the move to repeal Obamacare a terrible idea. Also taking shots at Donald Trump at a Democratic forum in Nevada, her campaign rival Bernie Sanders said,
"We are calling for a political revolution."
The day after North Korea's latest nuclear test, a protest in Seoul as the South Koreans resume propaganda broadcasts at the border, something the North Koreans consider an act of war. The North's test has been condemned around the world, though the U.S. and others are skeptical it was a hydrogen bomb test as claimed. Fox News Radio, fair and balanced.
Cloudy and 35 degrees. It is 5:02 on AM 560. The Answer. Good morning, everyone. I'm Mike Scott. A Texas trooper who arrested Sandra Bland after a contentious traffic stop last summer is now charged with perjury for allegedly lying about his confrontation with a black woman who then died 3 days later in jail. Brian Encina is accused of lying about how he removed Bland from her vehicle during that stop. The Department of Public Safety is saying it is firing the officer. Bland's arrest and death, later ruled a suicide, came amid heightened national scrutiny of police and their dealings with black suspects. Police in the Chicago suburb of Zion fatally shot a man authorities say was wearing a tactical-style vest, carrying a BB gun, and taking photographs of schools. Lake County Sheriff's Detective Chris Cavelli says the 38-year-old man was killed Wednesday later in the morning after he led officers on a chase and then a struggle ensued. Investigators found the suspect wearing the body armor. Cavelli said the armor was found to be a homemade tactical-style vest with metal inserts, and the weapon may have been an airsoft gun. Recovery crew members are walking the shores of a southern Wisconsin lake. They're looking for a fourth missing man from the state of Illinois. Bodies of 3 other men have been recovered from Mill Lake in Walworth County since the 4 were reported missing on Sunday. Candidates for president have officially filed to get their names on the Illinois primary ballot. All major Republican and Democratic candidates filed their nominating petitions with the Illinois State Board by Wednesday's 5 p.m. deadline. So did 3 lesser-known long-shot candidates. Spokesman for Mayor Rahm Emanuel's office says Illinois Governor Bruce Rauner should stop exploding Chicago and lead to solve the challenges facing the state. Rauner said Wednesday Emanuel was out of touch when he told reporters that expanding a Justice Department probe of Chicago police to the city's law department is unnecessary. Rauner says the civil rights probe should include the law department. 22 Chicago police officers are being disciplined after audio was missing from dash cam devices on their squad cars. The report also showed that some officers intentionally did not turn on the mics. Discipline ranges from formal reprimands to a 3-day suspension without pay. Lake County prosecutors are attempting to prevent a new trial for a daycare worker convicted of the murder of a child in 2009. Officials responded last week to Melissa Kalasinski's request for a new trial, saying her lawyers are simply trying to retry evidence heard at the first trial. Tribune says the alleged new x-rays are simply brightened versions of ones used in the trial that resulted in the 29-year-old Kalasinski's 31-year prison sentence. Kalasinski's attorneys filed a motion last summer claiming that new evidence, they say, shows 16-month-old Benjamin Kingen died from pre-existing head injuries. Chicago sports last night. Blackhawks winners over Pittsburgh 3-1 on the college hardwood. A nice evening for our directional schools. Southern Illinois beat Bradley 65-44, and Northern Illinois topped Ohio 80-69. While Illinois State beat Loyola, it was Ohio State over Northwestern 65-56. The news service of Lead Safe America. Does your child struggle to concentrate and pay attention? May actually be caused by lead poisoning. Lead is a neurotoxin. It can cause permanent brain damage. Find out how to protect your family. Go to leadsafeamerica.org. A check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
A new year brings resolutions. Some will resolve to get in shape or start a new hobby. Some will resolve to finish a project or start a project. Some will resolve to completely change everything. Yeah, well, we resolve to not change at all. That's right, we're staying the same. We'll be bringing you the best coverage of breaking news and the most stimulating talk. Hey, stick to what you're good at. From AM 560, The Answer.
The Home Building and Remodeling Expo that Bob Vila promotes is coming to the Lake County Fairgrounds January 16th and 17th. If you're looking to remodel your kitchen, bathroom, basement, or maybe get a new roof, flooring, windows, or insulation, then this is the event for you. At this two-day expo, you'll meet local and national contractors displaying their products and services. Get fresh ideas, arrange estimates, and talk directly with contractors, many of which are offering huge discounts. Maybe you need a new furnace or handyman. You'll find everything you need under one roof. Increase the value of your home and impress your friends and family by getting the hottest updates. Special announcement. Design expert Kelly Edwards of HGTV's Design on a Dime will be presenting both Saturday and Sunday from noon to 1 p.m. and giving away cash and prizes. Remember the Home Building and Remodeling Expo January 16th and 17th at the Lake County Fairgrounds in Grays Lake. Get more information at homeshowevent.com. That's homeshowevent.com.
5:07, and in our ChicagoRadioDeals.com traffic center, let's get the latest on the early morning ride to work. Here's Jim Telemonte. Good morning, Jim.
Good morning, Mike. On northbound I-65, we're seeing roadwork delays. It's stop and go on the northbound side from 61st Avenue to 53rd Avenue. There's some road work there. Two right lanes are blocked. We expect that to clear shortly, but at this point, it's still there, and so is that fairly brief delay. Chinatown, there's a rollover crash, 23rd and Archer. It's been there a while, just a bit south of Cermak. Archer is open. Elsewhere, things look pretty good. No delays to report on the Chicago expressways or the area Illinois tollways. Traffic is a service of Think It Up. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte, AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer starts next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the AirComfort.com Weather Center. AirComfort.com, your commercial HVAC solution provider. Here's meteorologist Kevin Snyder.
Today, considerable cloudiness with a shower in places with a high 37. Then tonight, areas of fog with occasional rain and drizzle, a low 34. Low clouds and fog with a little rain tomorrow, high 42. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560. The Answer.
Currently, we have 34 at O'Hare, 35 along Chicago's lakefront, 36 at Midway, 35 in Aurora. Your next news update is at 5:30. The latest news, traffic, and weather at 560theanswer.com. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy starts now on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by The Laz Word with Tom and Dave, heard Sundays at midnight.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy.
Hey, thanks for coming to work today, everybody. It's a good, big, booming, big, fun Thursday.
Why are you so happy?
No, I was just wondering when people were going to show up. Not that I'm ever guilty of ever being late to work, because I have been late to work.
Look who's the hall monitor is.
I am a hall monitor, and I was a safety crossing guard, too, in elementary school. Yeah, I've been late in 6 years. I've been late 4 times.
I'll tell you what.
One time I slept completely through the show, I do believe.
What? Yes. Not to, highlight anyone's shortcomings. Why don't you just don't worry about us and you just focus on those unruly 5th and 6th grade girls you're trying to fashion into a basketball team?
You know what? We have our second game at 4:30 today. It's at Inner America, if anyone wants to go. It's right near District 19 on Addison Street there.
So good seats are still available?
Yeah, good. Yeah, and guess what? It's free. First come, first serve, and we don't charge. But I'm back. I'm rejuvenated. I watched some YouTube videos yesterday of 5th and 6th grade girls basketball, and I've come up with a diamond zone. Now, we're going to play zone to zone. We're not doing man to man. We're playing zone defense today because the man to man got a little aggressive and a little ugly, and of course there was people were bleeding and crying, and there were head injuries. So we're going to do. I was either going to do 1, 2, and 2.
Fans. That included the fans.
One on top. 2 and 2, or 2-3. What do you think? Or should I do 2-2 and then have the person on top of the key just chase the ball?
Hold on, let me get Karl Rove's chalkboard out here. We can diagram your defensive sets.
What do you think? Is that a good idea, having the one person on the team that's the best on the team actually just chase the ball?
To chase the ball.
When we're on defense.
Boy, I mean, it's like talking to John Wooden's ghost here. Really. Here's what you do.
Yes.
You play man-to-man defense, and you teach them the fundamentals of the game. That's the point at the 5th and 6th grade level. It's not about winning. It's not.
Oh, please. You go tell my girls that. Hey, ladies, it's not about winning. They'll bite your ankles off.
Well, who's in charge of that team? You or them?
Slammed on. I'm in charge. Well, Coach Sykes and Coach Amy are in charge, yeah.
Hopefully in that order.
Yeah. Oh, stop it. Yes.
And I don't even know Coach Sykes. That's how disturbed I am by this conversation.
He's a great guy. He's the gym teacher and the male and females basketball coach. So are you going to come to the game? Are you going to come?
I am otherwise occupied at that
Well, you have
time.
to come to one of our games. It's a short season. We have 6 games in our season. That's it. But I'll let you know when we play at Blaine because you might want to stop by.
I'll look forward to that. Maybe I should come to one of the practices before
You know
I
what?
come to one of the games.
Yeah, but the thing is now it's all games.
Oh, it's just games now.
But today I got a little gym time. Got a half-hour gym time.
All right.
I work to my magic, Dan.
All right, let me see the schedule, and I'll see if I can pencil in one of the games. That'll be the most entertaining 12 minutes of my life. I have a feeling.
Actually, it will be. You'll be shocked and awe. And your eardrums. You might want to bring earmuffs because when they make a basket, the screaming
By you?
Oh no, by the players and the girls.
Oh.
It's deafening.
Yeah.
It's fun.
Ladies, let's act like we've been there before, please. So I'm sorry that you had to come to work because your numbers weren't picked in the Powerball.
That's right. Yeah, no one won. No one got lucky last night. Like that tease? Huh?
I don't know. I don't get it.
No one got lucky last night. No one won the $500 million. And now it's going to roll over, they say, to $675 million.
Yeah.
But you know what's really going to turn out to be? $1 billion.
Okay, Austin Powers. Did you actually buy a ticket?
I did. I bought one quick pick for $2.
You know what's interesting? You bought a ticket. I did not, and we have almost the identical odds of winning.
You didn't buy one?
No.
Why not? You can't win if you don't play.
You can't win if you don't play. That's right. And you also will not win if you do play.
Well, seriously, what's $2? Are you going to Art Norman lecture me now? Because Art Norman from
I want my
Channel 5.
$2. Yeah.
Well, he would
$2,
lecture.
I want my $2.
Lecture everybody in the newsroom all the time.
About
Do not play that. About the evils of the lottery. And that's just a gateway to gambling. Next thing you know, you'll be, at the casino tables.
Right, you're gambling your mortgage payment. It's actually a gateway to being bad at math. That's my concern.
We already know I'm bad at math.
You have more chance of being struck by lightning twice.
Really?
Than of winning Powerball. You have a greater chance of being eaten by a shark. So what I'm saying is, I don't go out and spend $500 million waiting for those numbers to be picked.
I'm going to. Powerball's played in 44 states, including the District of Columbia. And guess what state has the most Powerball winners? And I actually studied this, so take a guess. 17 Powerball champs in one state.
Kentucky.
No, close. Go up north and to the east.
Indiana.
A little more north and a little more east.
Michigan.
A little more east.
Ohio.
Keep going.
Pennsylvania.
Bingo! Congratulations, yes.
Wow.
They had
never thought we'd
17
get there.
Powerball winners, and the second state to have the most Powerball winners is Florida.
Wow, you're like a Powerball historian. The Powerball archivist.
This is exciting. I mean, this Saturday's drawing is going to be the largest lottery prize in U.S. history.
Yeah.
Remember the last lady who won $574 million?
No.
Yeah,
she's bankrupt, like so many lottery winners.
All of a sudden, her kids that hadn't spoken to her in 20 years came out of the woodworks and were, helping her out and walking her to her car. And
Sure.
she had blue blade blockers on. She had pink or purple hair, blue hair, and
money brings family together.
It does. But she's still alive,
For
and
the distribution,
she's,
at least.
Yeah, and at the time I just decided that she was too old to win the lottery.
Too old to win. So you want to put an age
I want to put an age
threshold.
limit. She was 93 years old. What is she going to do with all that money? $574 million. What is she going to do with all that cash?
You could do a lot of things. You can do a lot of things with money very quickly. And not to mention, leave it, since we're all on this mortal coil for just a short time, you can leave it to subsequent generations like those newfound children she discovered.
Her sons that just love her now. No, but would you come to work if you won the lottery?
Yes.
So would I. But for how long?
But
and would it be on time?
But where would that work be? You'd come here and you'd sit around flipping cards into a hat and telling everybody what to do. And if you don't like it, I'll just leave. That's what you do.
I think if I won the lottery, you would come up to me with a list of candidates I should donate to. I mean, I'd hope you'd wait a day, but I think that after a day, you'd come up to me and say, there's this great up-and-coming Republican in your area that we need to support.
Right. But also there's this a very worthy cause, the Dan Proft Foundation. I've just sent away from my 501c3 designation.
UpstreamIdeas.com could really use another sponsor.
Brought to you by Amy Jacobson and her Powerball victory. Also, we were talking a little bit before the show.
Yeah.
What's going on in your neighborhood? You're like the Bernie Getz of Lakeview. You guys are organizing some kind of vigilante crew.
Well, this is a very serious situation. We had a drive-by shooting over the holiday weekend, and I checked out police reports. There was 5 shots fired a block away from my house, my neighbor's houses. It was a gang shootout. It didn't make the news because no one was hit, thank God. But we can't even get an evidence technician or a police officer or anyone to come to the scene. So, of course, I put on rubber gloves and I was picking up shell casings.
Okay,
and
CSI.
Put it in a Ziploc.
Oh, okay.
Put it in a Ziploc bag. The bullet went through my neighbor's front window and lodged into the frame. So I took tweezers and got the bullet out and secured that evidence. But nobody wants it. They don't care. I called my alderman. I called the lieutenant.
Spoiled the crime scene now.
I called. No. I did it perfectly.
Oh.
I did. I removed the bullet perfectly, I thought.
Yeah.
So, not to tamper with the evidence.
No, of course.
But the thing is, Dan, nobody cares. And when I called my district and said, we need help, can somebody help patrol the area? They said, we can't do that. And what we're recommending is residents, put up your own security systems, your own security cameras. They told the businesses along Southport, don't rely on us. If you need to, hire your own security system or your own security guard to watch your business.
Hire security guards.
Yeah.
What about your homes? You should have security guards
this
outside
is
your
the thing.
home.
We, I talked to other neighbors. We might hire a security guard just to monitor our street and pay this person to sit in an unmarked car and, a retired police officer or someone or a detective or, some security guard from some firm to monitor our street because it has gotten that bad because our officers are being whisked away to the west side and the south side. So we have no police protection. I can't tell you the last time I saw a foot patrol officer. I can't tell you the last time I saw squad cars because they're by Rom's house a block and a half away, but they can't leave Rom's house. So if there's something in my neighborhood, 2 blocks south, they cannot leave their post to protect us. And it's a sad state of affairs for the city of Chicago. I mean, the reason why my neighbor's child isn't dead is because they were on vacation, but that's that kid's playroom where that bullet went through the window.
Why don't you have those Cackle Caucus member friends of yours patrol the neighborhood? I mean, they'll scare the hell out of people. Those Hillary supporters, just put Hillary yard signs out. That'll keep people away.
No, I mean, it is a serious problem. Crime is on the way up in our neighborhoods, and nobody cares. And I talked to our alderman, Amaya Pawar, and you know what he said to me? He said, well, there's no gang activity over there. And I said, yes, there is. My neighbor's house was also tagged. Do you want? And I took pictures, and I have pictures too. I should tweet them out. For him to just be so ignorant, just to brush me off, there's no gang activity. Like, there is gang activity.
I'll tell you what, you want to put gun turrets on the house. I got a guy.
Hear about the big stories of the day, then talk about them right here on Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Considerable cloudiness today with a shower in places this morning. By the afternoon, we'll have partly sunny skies, a high of 36 degrees. Tonight, fog with occasional rain and drizzle, a low of 34. And for your big fun Friday, we're going to have low clouds and fog in the morning, a little rain, a high of 42. Travel times, here's Jim Telemonte.
Good morning, Amy. Good morning, Dan. Southwest side of Chicago, there's a house fire on the 2900 block of West 25th Street that is near Sacramento Avenue. A rollover crash still affecting Archer Avenue at 23rd in Chinatown. That's not blocking the roadway, though. Collision reported in Itasca, eastbound Thorndale past 53. Expressways and tollways are looking pretty good. Earlier, road work has cleared on I-65, so no delays to report there. Earlier, there were delays northbound near 53rd Avenue. Inbound Bishop Ford, just a little heavy approaching the merge, but there's no significant delay yet. Jim Talamonte, ChicagoRadioDeals.com Traffic Center.
Guess what? You can win a trip for two to Cabo, Los Cabos, Mexico. Download the AM560 The Answer mobile app, and you can register for your chance to win an all-expense-paid trip to beautiful Secrets Los Cabos. We'll be going there April 2nd through April 9th. It's our annual trip getaway, but this place is absolutely gorgeous. 5-star resort, 2 sparkling swimming pools, 24-hour-a-day room service. My favorite, it's adults only. It's great. Top of the line. The rooms are well appointed. All rooms are ocean views. So join us April 2nd through April 9th by going to am560theanswer.com, keyword escape.
Will your security guard be coming with us?
Possibly, yes. And also, you can win a trip for two right now if you download the AM560 The Answer mobile app. Register for your chance to win 2 free trips to Los Cabos, Mexico by simply downloading the AM560 The Answer mobile app and click on the Enter to Win banner to register. The contest ends January 29th at 9 a.m. Buena suerte.
There are 2 kinds of pain. Pain that goes away and the worst kind, chronic pain. If you suffer from chronic pain, life is not complete and it can be miserable. Unfortunately, most people use narcotics that mask the pain. You need to find the source of the chronic pain and get relief.
This is Dr. Ken Candido of Chicago Anesthesia Pain Specialists. We're serious players in the management of pain, and our team are national leaders as well as being educators in the treatment of pain. We will work with you to diminish or eliminate your pain and help you get your life back. You know, there's a nationwide narcotics epidemic, and people are too quick to mask over chronic pain instead of looking for the cause and treating or eliminating the pain. Contact us. We will help you.
Go to mypainchicago.com. Call and make an appointment with some of the best pain people in the nation, located here in Chicago. mypainchicago.com. You or someone you know suffers in the suffering of chronic pain. mypainchicago.com. Let's make you pain-free.
Having a great smile to show off makes you feel good. There's no embarrassment associated with being able to flash your pearly whites whenever you want. If you'd like to feel that comfort and confidence with your smile, there's only one person who can help you. Dr. Neruzzi of Fox River Periodontics.
This is Brian DeWolf. I have 2 implants from Fox River Periodontics. I had one, I was happy with it, so I had another one done, and I love them. The idea of dentures didn't appeal to me at all. I didn't want that appliance in my mouth. These implants are wonderful. They're just like your real teeth. And they're probably even better because there's no nerve attached to them, so there's no pain, and they last forever. Dr. Neruzzi is great, and his staff is wonderful, and I trust him completely. If you're looking for dental implants, or considering dental implants for a missing tooth or for a whole mouthful, talk to Dr. Neruzzi. They'll be happy you did, and Fox River Periodontics.
This is Dr. Neruzzi. I personally guarantee your happiness with your implants. Go to implantsforme.com.
AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. And so, Amy, still a lot of conversation going on about the president's press conference and his crocodile tears, as well as his proposals. Well, I mean, they're really
well, they're not really proposals.
That's what he's going to do.
That was a dog and pony show. It was a cathartic way for him to just bond with the people who have suffered so much. And, you know, you and I completely processed that press conference differently.
Yeah, but the more interesting thing is how the Washington press corps processes everything. This is why they're so aghast at what occurs within the body politic. They don't understand because they live in these bubbles. I mean, they're the modern-day Pauline Kaels, right? The famous New Yorker film critic who in 1972 said...
the year you were born, right?
Correct.
What did they say?
She said, I can't believe Richard Nixon won. I don't know anyone who voted for him. He won 49 states. in 1972. And the point is...
Did she finally find somebody who
I
voted
don't
for
think
Nixon?
she ever did. I don't think she ever did.
Poor soul.
Because you live in these little rarefied circles, and so you have no appreciation for why other people may think differently from you.
Oh,
And this is on display with respect to conversation about guns. And in addition to that, you have a bunch of people that have never been around guns, never taken an interest in guns, and so there's a stigma that has been perpetuated about them because of the ignorance of those who have never been around guns, who've taken no interest, who don't know what they're talking about. Unfortunately, many of those people have jobs in television and the media more generally.
Well, when's the first time you learned how to shoot?
Teenager.
Were you ever fearful of guns?
No, I wasn't fearful.
I was curious about them.
Yeah, right. And so you learn. I mean, I didn't grow up around guns, so I came to it.
Your
later.
family weren't hunters,
No.
hunters and gatherers.
No, and so I came to it later in life.
Yeah.
But it's just one of these things that you see happen over and over again, and this is why we can't get beyond these banal conversations on the topic to the real issues surrounding violence on our streets, or even other matters, mental illness and suicide prevention, other substantive matters that we should be talking about rather than the personification of inanimate objects. And this was on display yesterday. CNN. There's some show.
Are they still drinking from New Year's Eve? Is Don Lemon still hammered?
There's this knucklehead show. Have you heard Berman and Baldwin or something?
Oh, Baldwin. Berman and Baldwin?
Baldwin. I don't know who these people are. But this is the exchange they had on their little show on CNN yesterday with a New Hampshire gun shop owner about what the president plans to do.
Well, you do have a lot of Second Amendment officers. I mean, I happen to favor carrying.
No. I got to save that one.
Don't blow your wad early.
Good advice. Vivid, thank you. Here's what I wanted to play.
Do you think the president wants to take away your guns?
I think it's probably a first step towards it, yes.
Really? Even though the president said yesterday in his speech, he said that his actions are not a plot to take away everybody's guns.
Right, but Mr. Obama has also things that, have not always been the truth.
Has he?
Oh.
Yeah, that's kind of a good point. The New Hampshire gun owners, the common sense that you get out on the hustings that you don't get from the deep intellects that preside over these cable news shows. Yeah. Really? You think he would take away your guns? Really? Well, golly gee, I don't know. I mean, he is the same guy who supported a handgun ban, and he is the same guy who has ridiculed people when he was a candidate for president, you may recall, Baldwin or whatever the hell your name is, people clinging to their religions and guns. Like, that's a bad thing. And that evinces the image of the troglodyte in the cave clinging to his guns and religion, rather the erudite Obama and other Eastern establishment elites. I mean, the exchanges are so interesting. Here's another good one. This is our friend Melissa Harris Perry. This is the dingbat that has a show on MSNBC.
Wait, hey, has she paid her taxes yet?
I think she's still working it out with the IRS.
All right. Maybe on a payment plan?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
How much did they owe? Hundreds of thousands?
She was in the tens of thousands,
Oh, okay.
I think. She wasn't in Sharpton territory. So you had that. We'll get to Melissa Harris Perry. She's also the one you'll remember. I'll just tease Melissa Harris Perry. That said that Star Wars is racist because of Darth Vader is in a black suit. This is the quality of intellect you're getting from people who are leading these discussions about your Second Amendment freedoms, and we wonder why we can't get to an interesting place.
It's news, opinion, insight. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
It's another new year and a time where you make that same resolution to hit the gym and get back into shape. It's easy. Pick your choice. The local gym in a strip mall near your house where there's never enough machines and muscle heads, or the overrated health club that lures you in with small monthly membership fees but ends up charging you a huge initiation fee. They could care less if you ever work out again and only want your automatic monthly payments. Make a different resolution this year. check out Steel Horse Athletics in Palatine, the northwest suburbs' newly remodeled 50,000 square foot facility. This state-of-the-art club is for the entire family. You'll find bodybuilding, fitness classes, swimming pool, and the indoor soccer arena Step Ahead Sports that has the hottest futsal leagues. There's no long-term contracts and no high prices. Ask for the Patriot Discount, where you'll receive 10% off the first year. Call 847-616-8900 or visit steelhorse.fitness.com. That's steelhorse.fitness.com.
You did it. That's right. Because of your generosity and support of our annual Feed the Children campaign, we were able to reach our goal of feeding more than 18,000 children around Chicagoland this holiday season. Real families with real needs that you have helped to meet. And we especially want to thank the many business benefactors who've stepped up in a huge way. When you hear their advertisements on this station in the coming months, we encourage you to support them as a way of saying thanks. And just because we reached our goal, that doesn't mean that the need has gone away. So please continue to support Feed the Children with a tax-deductible gift of any amount at any time. Just go to feedthechildren.org. And thanks again from all of us here at AM 560, The Answer. And coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Oh, no, the birther movement is back, and it's being led by the Obama White House at 5:35.
But first, into the newsroom we go. And we'll say good Thursday morning to Mike Scott.
Amy and Dan, good morning. Good morning, everyone. Cloudy and 35 degrees. The Powerball jackpot, we've been talking about that with you this morning. It's now worth a little more than $2/3 of $1 billion with a lump sum cash value of $413 million if you are a winner on Saturday after there were no winners last night. Donald Trump wants a judge to decide if Ted Cruz can be president. The Republican presidential frontrunner slumping a bit in Iowa, telling CNN the Texas senator's citizenship is an issue. Cruz, however, is not putting much stock into any questions about whether he's a natural-born citizen.
As a legal matter, the question is quite straightforward and settled law, that the child of a U.S. citizen born abroad is a natural-born citizen. People will continue to make political noise about it, but as a legal matter, it's quite straightforward.
This morning, Vice President Joe Biden says he's having regrets about not making a run for president.
I regret it every day, but it was the right decision for my family and for me, and I plan on staying deeply involved, and we've got two good candidates.
And Biden, during a round of interviews yesterday, a Republican bill gutting the Affordable Care Act and defunding Planned Parenthood is headed to the White House after passage by the House and Senate. Republican House Speaker Paul Ryan.
Obamacare doesn't work. Higher premiums and fewer choices and restricted access, these are not signs of success. Obamacare is not successful. They are signs of failure. And the American people deserve better.
It is unlikely that congressional Republican leaders will be able to muster enough votes to override a presidential veto. The company behind that Keystone XL pipeline is suing the federal government over the president's rejection of that plan. The president said no to the TransCanada proposal to build the Keystone XL pipeline. The suit says the rejection was arbitrary and unjustified. A Texas trooper who arrested Sandra Bland after a contentious traffic stop last summer is now charged with perjury for allegedly lying about that confrontation with the black woman who died 3 days later in a Texas jail. Police in Zion say they fatally shot a man authorities say was wearing tactical-style vesting and carrying a BB or airsoft gun and taking photographs of schools. And the CEO of United Airlines underwent a heart transplant operation. The airline says he's in recovery. United says Oscar Munoz is expected to recover, and not only that, return to work this spring. Munoz, 56, went on medical leave in October.
As a legal matter, the question is quite straightforward and settled law, that the child of a U.S. citizen born abroad is a natural-born citizen. People will continue to make political noise about it, but as a legal matter, it's quite straightforward. I would note that it has occurred many times in history. John McCain was born in Panama, but he was a natural-born citizen because his parents were U.S. citizens. George Romney Mitstad was born in Mexico when his parents were Mormon missionaries, but he was a natural-born citizen because his parents were citizens. And actually, Barry Goldwater was born in Arizona before Arizona was a state, and yet he was a natural-born citizen because his parents were citizens. As a legal matter, the question is quite straightforward. And listen, as last night's events demonstrate.
paper.
It would be quite ironic.
The Joe Walsh Show.
The guy doesn't give a damn about the Second Amendment. He can't even say the word Constitution. He can't even say it's right there in the Bill of Rights. It's right there in the United States Constitution. This son of a gun can't even say that.
The Joe Walsh Show. Weeknights starting at 5. Right after Sean Hannity at 2 on AM 560. The Answer.
LiveWatch helps you connect and respond up to 10 times faster in an emergency. LiveWatch has no long-term contracts. Save up to 50% off home security. Call 855-LiveWatch or visit livewatch.com.
Everywhere you go, the threat looms. It follows you no matter what you do. The longer you avoid the IRS and the financial difficulties you're going through, the closer they get to you. John DeWatt of Thinking Outside the Box Law Firm can help you end the feeling of being hunted by the IRS. If you've avoided taxes or could benefit from the life-saving assistance of bankruptcy, it's time you call John DeWatt. This is an attorney who is willing to take on the federal government on your behalf. He has worked to discharge thousands of dollars in penalties, and he can help you settle your debts once and for all. Call 888-777-4193. Let the hunters become the hunted. Let John DeWatt of Thinking Outside the Box Law Firm deal with the IRS personally. Call John for your own relief plan. 888-777-4193 or online at thinkingoutsidetheboxlaw.com. That's thinkingoutsidetheboxlaw.com.
537 in our Chicago RadioDeals.com traffic center. Let's get the latest with Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. On the inbound Ryan Expressway, traffic slows from Cermak into the Burns Circle. It's 19 minutes, 95th to downtown, outbound 5 at 15. You're on Bishop Ford. You've got a 3-minute delay for 103rd to the merge. Traffic is building on the other expressways. No significant delays yet. Tri-State Tollway, there's still some morning road work southbound 190 to Irving Park in the right lane. And in the left lane from St. Charles to the Reagan Tollway northbound, 2 right lanes are closed. The Reagan Tollway to St. Charles, and 1 right lane from Irving Park to 190. So prepare to slow down a bit in that area. Otherwise, overall, things look pretty good. Traffic is a service of Compassion International. There's a little boy or girl living in poverty right now. They don't have enough to eat, are sick, and can't go to school. You can release them from that poverty when you become a sponsor with Compassion International. Find out how at compassion.com/radio. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the AirComfort.com Weather Center. 80 years of quality mechanical service. Considerable cloudiness with a shower in spots, high 36 today. Rain and drizzle, areas of fog overnight, low 34. Currently 34 at O'Hare. Next news at 6. And Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Advanced Planning Advisors, bringing you
Do you
Smart
believe
Money Talk
Senator
with Mike
Ted
Moylan
Cruz-
and Rob Curvin, Saturday mornings at 6.
You want more than just the headlines? Find out what's going on and what it means with me, Dennis Prager, this morning at 11, right here on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. We're going to get to these birther conspiracy theories that are so awful that are being pushed by the White House.
By the White House or by Donald Trump?
Well, Josh Earnest had something to say about Ted Cruz's citizenship yesterday. We'll get to that, but I wanted to close the loop on our last conversation before we get a check of the news with Mike Scott. That's about guns and the conversation that has ensued, at least the conversation directed by know-nothing cable news anchors. Mention that has ensued since the president had his press conference about guns the other day. Played the clip from CNN, their interview with very sensible New Hampshire gun shop owner. Then we have Melissa Harris Perry, and we began by giving you Melissa Harris Perry's resume of ignorance prior to the break. I think this really speaks for itself. Listen to Melissa Harris Perry. A roundtable discussion on guns that included a police officer.
Oh.
Surprised police officers let in the building at MSNBC.
Well, you do have a lot of Second Amendment officers. I mean, I happen to favor carrying a gun myself. I don't think there's much wrong with it. The reality is that how are we going to keep the illegal guns away from people?
But a lot of people shoot their wives with perfectly legal guns.
And?
So they wouldn't if they did not have them.
We're not going to take guns away from people. We're just going to make it harder for law-abiding citizens to get them.
I mean, it's breathtaking. It really is breathtaking. I mean, I applaud the officer for deigning to appear on that show and have to deal with the idiocy of Melissa Harris Perry.
So what was she hoping, that Obama's executive action would make people turn in their guns?
Well,
that they're going to go door to door and take everyone's guns away? What, 300 million are out in households?
Well, so this exchange with the New Hampshire gun shop owner. Now think about what you just heard from Melissa Harris Perry.
I kind of want to hear it again.
Well, but just think about this: one of the leading lights on the left. She's so important. MSNBC gave her a show to dispense the left-wing propaganda on guns and some of the other issues. And then think about what she said, the honesty of it, if not despite the inanity of it, and then go back to what the CNN anchor on that. Who are these people? Berman and Bornstein and Baldwin, and I don't know who they are.
You just threw in a Bornstein.
I don't know who they are. Their discussion with the New Hampshire gun shop owner.
Do you think the president wants to take away your guns?
I think it's probably a first step towards it, yes.
Really? Even though the president said yesterday in his speech, he said that his actions are not a plot to take away everybody's guns.
Right, but Mr. Obama has also things that, have not always been the truth.
Right. And so they're incredulous at the idea that anyone could believe that President Obama would move to take away your guns if he could, that anything could be a first step down a path to a certain destination, that there's a philosophical school that exists on the left side of the political spectrum that says private citizens who are not government officials shouldn't own guns. And you just heard Melissa Harris Perry say precisely that. Men shoot their wives with perfectly legal guns. That's the argument.
You know what? She's making me feel really smart today. I just want you to know.
Tell you. Thank you, Melissa Harris Perry. Ed in Oak Brook, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Yeah, you know what? Yesterday when you were talking, you mentioned it, Dan, that when he referred to China being safer than the United States, I mean, is that not the biggest endorsement for the Second Amendment? I don't know how the Republicans don't use that. He wants to be like China, so that's where his mentality is. Yeah. Total control over everybody.
Yeah, thanks for the call. The China comparison was fascinating. Yeah.
I have it here. With the knives, you mean?
Yeah.
You can't stop every act of violence, every act of evil in the world. But maybe we could try to stop one act of evil, one act of violence. Some of you may recall at the same time that Sandy Hook happened, a disturbed person in China took a knife and tried to kill with a knife a bunch of children in China. But most of them survived because he didn't have access to a powerful weapon.
I'll tell you what, I've got an idea. I think we send Boers and Bornstein. What's the CNN hosts? Who are they? Benson and
Baldwin.
Baldwin and Burnson or whatever they. Send those two and Melissa Harris Perry to China.
That's right.
Where they can enjoy the spoils of the glorious revolution.
So do you think that President Obama is trying to take our guns away or just making it harder for Americans to purchase weapons?
Yeah, it's a baby step. It's all for him. This is just a show. This is just. I mean,
well, it's a promise he made to the victims' family members.
Oh, it doesn't matter. It's political It's just political pandering. I mean, remember what he said. He said it himself. He admitted it. We need to do something, anything. Let's just do something.
Just throw stuff against the wall and see what sticks.
Yeah, I mean, it's just for symbolic political purposes. It moves the needle a little bit. It has a bit of a chilling effect on gun ownership and gun transactions, likely, but it's not going to materially change the people's exercise of their Second Amendment rights in this country,
And
or the ownership of guns, which remember number in about 300 million in private hands.
Mm-hmm.
So
and you mentioned earlier that reporters are fearful of guns, and it's so true. I don't know any reporters that I've worked with at 7 different TV stations who would go to the shooting range with me, and they thought I was crazy because I wanted to go to the shooting range. And then I did a great piece on this Northwest Indiana shooting club. And part of my stand-up was I was shooting at a target and then at a moving target and then clay shooting. And my news director had a heart attack, called me into the office. She said, you cannot be seen on camera shooting a weapon. I said, why? I have my FOID card. I was in Indiana. It was at a shooting range, a gun range. She said, no, you can't. Young girls look up to you. And you cannot be on television with a weapon.
Yeah, right.
And I said, what is this going to start street violence?
I mean,
girls are going to grab guns now because I'm holding a gun in a stand-up? Calm down.
Well, this is what I'm talking about.
She made me take it out. She made me take it out after all that hard work.
The ignorance, and these are people in positions of substance, because the television is a powerful tool, powerful communication tool, and as is print and other media. And it's just sad. They're a bunch of Pauline Kaels. They're a bunch of ignoramuses. I don't know anybody who owns a gun. 100 million people in this country own guns. John and Peatone, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hi there. Good morning.
Morning.
I was a police officer back in the 80s and 90s, and I knew that after we started closing all these mental health facilities, we would start having problems with this. If this is geared towards trying to get the guns out of the hands of mental health affected people, why are we not looking more at taking care of the mental health field instead of blaming the people with guns?
Yeah. Thanks for the call, John.
I was talking about Jared Loeffner yesterday, and I had a talk with my mom about him because his parents still live in my mom's neighborhood in Tucson. And when he went to Pima Community College, he was expelled because other students were so fearful of him because he was crazy and he would stalk different people during class, and they never reported him to any agency. And his parents never turned him in. He used to walk around the house in red Speedos and with his weapon, walking around, walking to the dinner table like that. And his mom and dad never turned him in either. He was mentally ill. He was sick. And that's why, somebody would have stopped him or helped him, or some agency, or even his parents, maybe those 7 people would still be alive.
That's a fair point. Rick in Westchester.
Hey, good morning.
Morning.
You know that Barack Obama is truly going after the guns when he says one of 2 things. A, if you like your gun, you can keep your gun.
Right.
Or B, if I had a son, he would not look like Charleston Heston.
Right. Thanks for the call, Rick. If Barack Obama had a son, he would look like Rahm Emanuel.
There's only one radio show in Chicago talking about today's biggest stories and telling you what they really mean. That show is this one, Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560, The Answer.
Today, considerable cloudiness, and we will have a shower in places this morning. Hopefully it'll wash away the snow. A high of 36 degrees. Tonight, areas of fog with occasional rain and drizzle, a low of 34 degrees. And for Friday, we're going to have some low clouds and fog in the morning and a little rain, a high of 42 degrees. Let's get the travel times and say hello to Jim Delamonte.
Well, good morning, Amy. Good morning, Dan. Inbound Kennedy, a little slow early from Ohio into the Hubbard Street Tunnel. That's because a stall is blocking the right lane. It's just a 1 or 2 minute delay. The outbound Kennedy's clear. Edens is fine. Inbound Eisenhower, little congested past Manheim. Inbound Stevenson, slow Pulaski to Kedzie, a 1 or 2 minute delay. Inbound Ryan, delay start at 31st, 21 minutes, 95th to downtown. Outbound fine at 15. Bishop Ford, got a 3-minute delay approaching Merge. Some road work winding down on the Tri-State, both directions, between the Reagan Tollway and 190. There's no significant delay at the moment. Jim Talamonte, ChicagoRadioDeals.com, Traffic Center.
Turnkey IT is a name that you've come to know and trust on AM 560. Turnkey IT provides small businesses with IT resources that are normally reserved for Fortune 500 companies. They provide world-class network installations and ongoing IT support for fixed monthly rates based on the size of your network. In fact, Turnkey IT has a program that fits the needs of your business. Turnkey IT understands that your business matters and that keeping you focused on it makes all the difference in the world. Best of all, their service can save you time and money. Turnkey IT can give you the peace of mind that backups are being executed, email is always available, files are secure, and you've got someone to call when you need help. Turnkey IT has people who are professional, friendly, on time, and a live person even answers the phone 24 hours a day. So visit turnkey.pro today for a plan that fits your needs. That's turnkey.pro.
I just took Balance of Nature for the first time. You guys are awesome. God bless you.
I have CIDP. It's helped me with my balance. It's helped clear up my skin condition.
I honestly did notice a difference. That's why I reordered it.
I feel good. I really just feel good. Everything has changed. I just feel so much better.
There's absolutely no doubt in my mind that this product works. It's helped me as far as my overall health. I even recommended it to my mother, and she's been taking it, and she's 89 years old.
Get started early on your New Year's resolution with our best price of the year. Call now to find out how to get your free month's supply of Balance of Nature. Call 800-2468-751. That's 800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com. Use promo code CHICAGO.
You are a sign business, you want to grow, and you want to make more money. So do I. I want to partner with you. This is Dave Carlson, and my sign company is Franco Carlson & Company. We've been doing business in Chicago since 1894. With millions of dollars of state-of-the-art equipment, we can do any job. Trade shows, bus and vehicle wraps, banners for special events, even custom wallpaper. We can help you expand your sign business. If there is an order, any order, or a piece of business that you don't have the capabilities to do yourself, we can do it with you. You don't have to turn away any sign or print business any longer. Speed and quality to meet your deadlines. You have my word on that. Expand your sign business. Take any order. Make more money. Become a partner with Franco Carlson & Company. Contact me for a quote or stop by for a tour of our shop. Franco Carlson & Company. We are the sign company's partner.
Call Franco Carlson & Company at 773-847-6900. 773-847-6900.
AM 560, The Answer.
Gotta turn this thing on. Dan and Amy. So Ted Cruz. Ted Cruz, is Ted Cruz qualified to be president? I mean, constitutionally, is he a natural-born citizen?
Well, that's the question
that
Donald Trump is asking.
There's a real birther movement going on, and it's actually being driven by the Obama White House.
It would be quite ironic if, after 7 or 8 years of drama around the president's birth certificate, if Republican primary voters were to choose Senator Cruz as their nominee, somebody who actually wasn't born in the United States and only 18 months ago renounced his Canadian citizenship.
Yeah. I don't know. What's the irony? I'm Josh Earnest. I don't think, Josh Earnest, you know what the definition of that word you're using is. The issue of citizenship is a non-issue, and it turns out that Ted Cruz is a pretty formidable constitutional scholar and an attorney.
I think he knows what he's doing. He's presented, 9 cases in front of the Supreme Court, U.S. Supreme Court?
Yeah, and the fact that Cruz was born in Canada...
Yeah, so he was born in Calgary, Canada. His mother's
unique.
American citizen, and his dad is from Cuba. And that's okay. It's you can be a citizen if your parent is a citizen and you're born out of the country.
Well,
while they're working for an American company, though. I mean, I understand if they're in the military, then you're still an American citizen. If your parent is in the military and you're on a certain base and you give birth, you're fine.
Let me have Ted Cruz clear this up in 40 seconds.
As a legal matter, the question is quite straightforward and settled law that the child of a U.S. citizen born abroad is a natural-born citizen. People will continue to make political noise about it, but as a legal matter, it's quite straightforward. I would note that it has occurred many times in history. John McCain was born in Panama, but he was a natural-born citizen because his parents were U.S. citizens. George Romney Mitt's dad was born in Mexico when his parents were Mormon missionaries, but he was a natural-born citizen because his parents were citizens. And actually, Barry Goldwater was born in Arizona before Arizona was a state, and yet he was a natural-born citizen because his parents were citizenship.
So let's get on with the campaign, shall we, people?
Okay, fine.
Before you see it on TV, share it on Facebook, or read about it in the paper, hear it here first. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Hi, this is Dr. David Kolbaba. So you get yourself one of those blood tests with all the poking and prodding. They're always looking for some kind of bad news. Most blood tests these days are very lacking, only screening you for the big, bad, and ugly diseases, with you never really getting the good news, or even knowing what to do with the not-so-good news. So let me tell you about our dirt cheap comprehensive blood test. First of all, we'll be testing a wide variety of different health factors and not just the ugly few. And then we're going to sit down with you and strategize with all that we learned from your blood test findings. And I promise that you're going to know more about what you can do to help improve your health using a more natural, common sense approach. And for over 33 years, we've been very successful at setting people free from their toxic medications. It's our dirt cheap comprehensive blood test. Call 800-794-1855. You can't get any cheaper than dirt cheap. That's 800-794-1855. Be sure to tune into Health Quest Radio with me, Dr. David Kolbaba, this Saturday morning at 11.
The only defense between your family and another harsh Chicago winter is your roof. For 3 generations, the Lindholm family has been keeping Chicagoland homes safe and protected from the elements, even in the winter. They specialize in exterior needs from roofing, windows, brickwork, gutters, and siding. Start the new year off right by calling 888-4-ROOFER. That's 888-4-ROOFER. There's still time to inspect that roof or window. In fact, roofing and windows can be installed in cooler weather, and most jobs can be done the same day. So don't wait until you have an emergency on your hands. Call Lindholm Roofing at 888-4-ROOFER. That number again, 888, the number 4, ROOFER, or visit lindholmroofing.com. Lindholm Roofing, their family has your family covered, and Lindholm Roofing is a proud sponsor of Feed the Children.
The most recent U.S. Supreme Court decision on the Affordable Care Act made one thing certain. We will all have to deal with this ever-changing law at least until 2017. If you're tired of calling an 800 number to help you navigate Obamacare, call expert C. Stephen Tucker from HealthInsuranceMentors.com. He's someone I know and trust. He's a 20-year licensed broker who's been educating you on the Affordable Care Act for the last 5 years.
Thanks, Joe. If you have a pre-existing condition, a canceled plan, or your premium increased, now's the time to get covered. 2016 open enrollment begins on November 1st and ends on January 31st. During this 90-day window, you cannot be denied coverage. Depending on your income, you may find a more affordable plan. The new healthcare law is very complicated and you do need guidance. It costs you nothing to use a broker, so why not tap into my expertise?
Thanks, Steve. Hey, how can our listeners get in touch with you?
They can visit healthinsurancementors.com or call me directly at 630-674-1551. That's 630-674-1551.
Hey, do you know my friend Laz Coulchar from Automated Systems, who sponsored and spoke at Freedom Summit and wowed the crowd with his story of escaping communism, coming to the U.S. and building a successful software and systems integration company? Here's Laz Coulchar to explain.
Thanks, Joe. I built my company to deliver solutions for industry's toughest automation challenges by giving clients customized solutions to make production lines, facilities, and plants run with less downtime, more speed, and fewer rejects. Our systems provide reliability and deep insight into our clients' manufacturing operations for companies of all sizes, from Fortune 500 life science to successful startups.
Thanks, Laz. If you even suspect that Automated Systems could benefit your company, then call him. There's no obligation. Call Laz at Automated Systems at 844-HIRE-ASI or visit automatedsys.com. That's 844-HIRE-ASI.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer, Fox Chicago's producer sent out a sexist email. We'll have it exclusively. But first, let's go back into the newsroom and say good morning to the one and only Mike Scott.
Here are the stories we're following this morning on a cloudy day. Bland family reacting to a trooper indictment and firing. Man killed in a police officer-involved shooting in Zion. City of Chicago police disciplined over missing audio on dash cam videos. Blackhawks sweep a home-and-home series with Pittsburgh with a victory last night. Considerable cloudiness in your forecast. A shower in spots today with a high of 36. Complete look at weather after Fox News. WIND Chicago News Time, 6 o'clock.
Fox News Radio. I'm Dave Anthony. Americans' 401ks could take another beating today. Stock futures are plunging. Nearly 400 for the Dow after trading in China was halted again overnight.
Shanghai Composite actually fell more than 7% in just a little over 15 minutes, triggering that circuit breaker again. More than 1,600 stocks listed in Shanghai and Shenzhen fell to the 10% daily tanking limit.
Tracy Yu with Fox Business Network in Beijing. That's triggered a global sell-off. And if all that's costing you a lot of money, don't worry. Just win the Powerball. Nobody hit the jackpot last night.
I have a friend that was bitten by a shark and struck by lightning, so I believe in chances.
But neither her or her unlucky friend in Miami won, so Saturday's drawing will be historic, worth an estimated $675 million, the biggest lottery jackpot in U.S. history, and it could go higher. Republicans are being told
you do not care about the American people and their health security.
But Jim McDermott and the Democrats were outvoted in the House in the latest move to dump Obamacare. Fox's Rachel Sutherland live in Washington.
For the first time, House Republicans are sending a bill to the president, rolling back his signature accomplishment. But the measure repealing Obamacare, which passed in a 240-181 vote, faces a sure veto. House Speaker Paul Ryan acknowledges there aren't enough votes to override a veto.
The people deserve a truly patient-centered health care system. And ultimately, this is going to require a Republican president.
Democratic presidential frontrunner Hillary Clinton telling supporters, if you like your Obamacare and you want to keep it, vote for her. Dave.
Rachel, we're getting word out of France that officials say a man armed with a knife was shot to death by officers at a police station. It's being investigated as possible terrorism. In Libya, a truck bomb exploded in the town of Slitan near a police camp, killing at least 60 police officers and wounding at least 200. No one's claimed responsibility for that attack yet. Fox News Radio, fair and balanced.
Cloudy skies, 32 degrees, winds out of the south at 5. Good morning. I'm Mike Scott on AM 560 The Answer. A grand jury in Waller County, Texas, has indicted the state trooper who arrested Sandra Bland, formerly of Villa Park, charging him with perjury for lying about how he took her from that vehicle last July. AM 560's David Stewart has an update on this story.
Sandra Bland was arrested after a traffic stop that became combative, an incident caught on police video.
I'm going to drag you out of here.
So you threatening to drag me out of my own car?
Get out of the car!
And then
I will light you up. Get out!
She was found dead in her cell days later in what was ruled a suicide. Now a grand jury has charged the arresting officer, Brian Encinia, with misdemeanor perjury for lying about how he took Bland from her car. If convicted, he could serve a year in jail and pay a $4,000 fine.
Put your phone down right now.
David Stewart, Chicago.
Police in Zion fatally shot a man authorities say was wearing tactical-style vesting and carrying a BB or airsoft gun and taking photographs of schools. Lake County Sheriff's Detective Christopher Covelli says the 38-year-old man was killed Wednesday morning after leading officers on a chase and then engaging in a struggle. Investigators found the suspect who was wearing the armor, found to be a homemade-style tactical vest with metal inserts. A spokeswoman for Mayor Rahm Emanuel says Illinois Governor Bruce Rauner should stop exploiting children and start leading to solve the issues challenging the state. Rauner Wednesday said Emanuel was out of touch when he told reporters that expanding a Justice Department investigation of Chicago police to the city law department is unnecessary. Rauner says the federal civil rights probe should include the city's law department. Macy's has announced plans to slim down and save money, so it will close one of its Illinois stores in Peoria at the Northwoods Mall. Chicago sports last night was the Blackhawks over Pittsburgh 3-1. College hoops last night found Southern Illinois a winner over Bradley. Illinois State topped Loyola by a deuce. Northern Illinois over Ohio 80-69, and Ohio State over Northwestern 65-56. The news is a service of the Foundation for a Better Life. Deaf and blind Helen Keller overcame her world of darkness. Foresight, pass it on from the Foundation for a Better Life at values.com. A check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
The Dennis Prager Show.
I'm a good one at storing energy. That's why I have no burnout in my life. I'm very aware that life is a marathon. And you could even look at it this way, that the year is a marathon. And you can't run at the exact same highest pace all year. You will fatigue.
The Dennis Prager Show. Weekdays at 11, right before Sean Hannity at 2 on AM 560. The Answer.
I'm Nick Soboleski, a Select Quote agent with a true story that could save you hundreds of dollars a year. A woman named Linda just called. Her husband, Ray, has a $300,000 group life insurance policy, but is changing jobs and can't take it with him. Well, I impartially shopped the highly rated term life insurance companies we represent and found Ray, who is 41 and takes medication to control his cholesterol, a 10-year, $500,000 policy for under $26 a month. That's almost twice the coverage for less than half of what he had paid. If SelectQuote hasn't shopped for your life insurance, you're probably paying too much.
For your free quote, call 1-800-467-5125. That's 1-800-467-5125. 1-800-467-5125. Or go to SelectQuote.com. We shop, you save. Get full details on the example policy at SelectQuote.com/commercials. Your price can vary depending on your health, insurance company, and other factors not available in all states.
6:06 in our ChicagoRadioDeals.com traffic center. Let's get the latest with Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. On Chicago Southwest side, 25th Street is now closed at Sacramento due to a house fire. Eden's Expressway clear. The Kennedy looking good, too. A little heavy inbound at the Hubbard Tunnel. There was an earlier stall. It's gone now. Outbound, it's delay-free. On Eisenhower, slow Manheim to First Avenue. 31 minutes, Thorndale to the post office. Outbound fine at 29. Inbound Stevenson, about a 2-minute delay, Pulaski to Cudsey. Outbound, it's fine. Ryan, delay start at 31st. 21 minutes, 95th to downtown. I-57, Bishop 4, 2 to 3 minute delays approaching the merge. The tollways are fine. And traffic is a service of Compassion International. Never thought of yourself as a hero? That's what you'll be for a child in poverty. You become a sponsor with Compassion International. To find out how you can release a child from poverty right now, go to compassion.com/radio. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte, AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the AirComfort.com Weather Center. 80 years of quality mechanical solutions for your business. Here's meteorologist Kevin Snyder.
Cloudy today with a shower in spots, high 37. Areas of fog with occasional rain and drizzle tonight, low 34. Low clouds and fog with a little rain during the day tomorrow with a high 42, and a little rain at night, low 36. Rain mixing with snow on Saturday, high 42. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560, The Answer.
34 at O'Hare, 35 along the lakefront. Next news at 6:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Real Estate Live with Andrew Holmes. Get honest answers to your questions every Sunday at 12 noon.
Good morning. Welcome to your Thursday morning briefing. Here's what you need to know to start your day.
We are confronting the president with the hard, honest truth. Obamacare doesn't work.
I will defend the Affordable Care Act, which the Republicans are trying to repeal, but they never tell you what they would put in its place.
Do you still think he's ineligible to be president because he was born in Canada?
No, from what I understand, everything is fine. Well, I would say that he can't be president. If you're not born in this country, you can't be president.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. I'll tell you what, Amy, there is nothing that fascinates me more than what goes on in a network affiliate newsroom. And
you should be concerned.
And fascinated. So, Fox 32 in Chicago, there's a bit of a contretemps over dress policy there.
Yeah.
What's the problem?
All right, well, there's an executive producer for Good Day Chicago.
Some people don't know, because it's been so long. You used to be a television reporter.
Yes, I was
Yeah.
for 18 years, and I reported in 7 different states, and I've worked for ABC, CBS, Fox, NBC, O&O,
And how long were you in Chicago?
I was on air for 12 years.
All right, so that's a long time.
And during my tenure, I brought the hat to Chicago because I was always out on the streets, out in the field, they say, for hours.
Right.
And you go through some horrific temperatures. I mean, when it was 42 below one year.
I remember seeing you on the TV.
Yeah, on the overpass, and I had the furry hats.
Telling everybody, look, there's snow.
Yeah, look, I don't know if you've ever seen this, but it's snowing out.
Right. Wear layers.
Yes, wear layers,
Yeah.
and please stay inside. warning people not to be outdoors, and yet we're outdoors. And I've had 3 incidents where I had to go to the hospital because I had frostbite. 2 times on my feet, once on my hands. So then I picked up hand warmers. But I always stayed warm because I always wore hats. And I try to wear fashionable hats, and I try to convince other women it's cool to wear hats. So I started the hashtag Keep Your Hats On because of what happened yesterday. This memo was leaked from Fox 32, my Fox Chicago, from Dan Salomon. Now, he wrote this not to the male reporters, but to the female reporters. And it went a little bit like this. Dear ladies, I think you would look a lot better without hats. I will make an exception if it's 20 below. So if it's 20 degrees or below, I will make an exception, but you all look a lot better without hats. Now, he didn't issue this or send this email to any male reporters.
Well, just
only to 3 female reporters.
But point of order, Phil Rosenthal, writing about this in the Tribune, notes that his memo or his email was sent to the 3 females because that constitutes the reporting crew for the show. All 3 are females.
Yeah, but he also oversees the noon show, and there are male reporters for that show. But I think it's sexist because he didn't put it to all the reporters, just to the 3 female reporters. And what year is this? I mean, this guy, Dan Salomon, I think he should be suspended, possibly fired. No, because it's sexist. And also, too, what would be the best payback for this act of sexism would be for him to stand outside on one of the coldest days of the year. I want him to pull an 8 to 10 hour shift. Actually, you know what, to be really honest, it's really more of a 12 to 16 hour shift when you work as a reporter. I want him to be outside that whole time without a hat on and see how he likes it. I mean,
don't you get to go back to the truck after you do your hit?
Yeah, you can sometimes, but in a lot of instances you can't. You have to stay out in the streets. I mean, I remember interviewing you once, and you had on loafers without socks. And I thought,
I was going through my Don Johnson phase.
I know, but it was, and you didn't have a hat on because that's when you were the spokesperson for the town of Cicero.
I remember.
But weren't you cold? You don't remember.
I don't remember.
But
I don't remember getting a memo about it.
And it's reminiscent of, remember the edict from management from BBM back in 1991, Channel 2 News? They ordered anchor.
Oh, sure. Do I? I mean, I keep a compendium of all the internal memos that have ever been issued by a network affiliate news station.
Well, back in 1991 at WBM Channel 2, they ordered the anchor women to wear silk blouses in order to appear more feminine.
Let me ask you a question. Is the television a visual medium?
Yes.
And so your appearance matters, right? And isn't a condition of a lot of contracts for on-air personalities, on-air newsreaders, their appearance, their weight, even oftentimes?
Yeah, look what happened to Candy Crowley. She wasn't fired because she was old. She was fired, I think, because of her weight problem.
Well, she was a bigger person for a lot of years at CNN. She was there for a lot of years.
Yeah, new management came in. I mean, here's the difference. I mean, men can get old and fat. Example, Dick Kay, real name Ed Snodgrass, and that's okay, but women can't in television. Then you get sent out to the pasture. Oh, I'm sorry, we can't renew your contract anymore. That's how it works, and that's fine. I understand that. But for this news producer here in Chicago, where it is freezing during the winter months, to order women not to wear hats is ludicrous, and something should happen to him.
Well, but I mean,
because it's sexist.
I just go back to say, I mean, he said, I think, that his reasoning, according to Rosenthal again, or taking from Bob Feeder's column, that women would look a lot better without hats. Does looking good on television, is that part of kind of the desire of the employer and the condition of employment, frankly?
Well, they can tell you what. Or they could make suggestions. They can't order you.
Oh, so if Corey McFerrin showed up on the morning show wearing a Black Sabbath T-shirt, that wouldn't be a problem?
Well, no. Well, I think he has better judgment because you should wear a suit if you're a man.
What does it matter? Wait, I mean, this is my point. Does appearance is saying appearance matters legitimate? And does everyone going into the business know that there's a certain appearance that their employer is looking for, and they agree to that as a condition of their employment? I mean, look.
See, I probably are taking issue with this because I think hats are sexy, and I started a hashtag. It's okay to wear hats.
Well,
I think it helps,
fine.
and it helps. deal with the facts of the story. It's so cold out that I have to put this hat on. I don't.
But the hat isn't the issue. The issue is, can your employer dictate your appearance? I mean, within certain
within limits,
realistic limits, but as a condition of employment. So, like I said, I mean, once upon a time, I went out with a young lady who worked Fox News Channel in New York, and
once upon a time,
yeah,
what is this?
In a land far away.
It was far away,
and she
what
she told me about that. There was like weight requirements, and she would be.
Well, you don't have weigh-ins, but
no, but but I mean, but they can if they see you. I mean, they can.
It's a very slippery slope to walk down.
Well, but the point is, you know this going in, and she knew that going in, and she understood it. And look, I think you can be beautiful and smart. I mean, look at me. Right?
312-642-5600 is our turnkey.pro answer line, or you can send us a text at 64636, type in DA.
But I mean, do you think it's an accident that how attractive most people are that are on television? I mean, in the news business, not actors and actresses even, but in the news business, would you say most of them are attractive people?
Fairly good looking, yes.
Is that an accident?
No, but for him, and that this is Chicago, and it is cold outside. It's a safety issue for me. And I think, and also too, I think women look so sexy in hats, and it also helps the story. It's so cold out that I have to wear this hat.
What if he had said you have to wear hats and somebody didn't want to because we think it makes you look better to wear hats? Would you still have a problem?
No, but also
so it's not sexist.
Well, he should have sent the email to everybody, not just to the females. And the general manager came in and said, "Ladies, you can wear your hats." Apparently,
this seems to be a bit of a. I mean, and I know this goes on. This is not just specific to news. These are the kind of things that go on in employment situations and businesses across the board.
Well, there's dress codes.
Yeah, well,
and you and I kind of skirt around the dress code because the doors open for the station at 9 a.m. But if we were here and the show started at 9 a.m., we would have to dress differently.
Well,
but right now, I've got my Judd Nelson look on. I look as if I came out of a scene from Breakfast Club today.
It wouldn't be a problem. I mean, at 9 a.m., I go right to formal wear for the rest of my day.
Hot-looking broad.
Joe in Tinley Park, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Yeah. Do they want you to not wear a hat when you're not on live TV?
Do they want you to wait?
So while you're gathering the information, you can wear a hat, and then you have to take it off while you do your stand-up or your live shot.
Don't you want people to see your beautiful hair?
That's the point.
Thanks for the call, Joe.
That's the point. This executive
it makes
producer,
them look better.
Well, I think they look sexier with hats on. I do.
And
but
nothing else.
Only certain people can pull it off, though. I will say that.
Tom and Waukegan, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. Amy, weren't most of the young women on TV right now hired because they were young and good looking?
Yes, that is true. That is true.
So in other words...
So isn't that sexist?
Yeah. I mean, I doubt they'd hire a mid-50s, slightly overweight guy with style other than Tom Skilling.
Yeah. Yeah.
So what's the difference is, I mean, you're no longer news reporters. They're up there to look good.
Thanks for the call, Tom. I appreciate it. Yeah. That's why I got hired here.
Right. It's for your looks.
Yeah. Pretty up the place. Kevin in Northfield.
Amy, true or false, you were a union member?
True.
Okay, number one. Number two, true or false, you had to stand reporting from some of the worst neighborhoods in America where your life was in jeopardy. Forget the hat. You, as a reporter, were possibly a victim of terrible crime.
True. I've had a gun pulled on me. That was in Detroit. But, yeah. So, any other questions?
Thank you.
Thank for the call,
well, thank you.
Kevin. All right. So glad we
Kevin
got that
was a little aggressive on his line of questioning.
I think that was actually the GM at Fox, just pretending to be Kevin
really?
in Northfield.
Dennis Walsh.
Yeah. Peggy in Northside.
Hello?
Hi, Peggy.
Hi. I just wanted to say, I think Amy's absolutely right, and I think her rebuke was probably the most gentle I've ever heard. She said the guy just doesn't understand, and he doesn't. But I thought it was also, the correction was absolutely perfect, because, they do this with kids all the time. They say, well, you don't understand, so why don't I do this to you, and then you'll know what it feels like. And it works with kids.
Yeah.
I'll bet it works with adults, you know, and I think...
We're going to stick the first day that's below 40, we're sticking Dan Salomon out on the Ohio Street overpass.
Let him stand on the overpass for about 10 minutes and see if he'd like to have earmuffs or, you know, something
No, we'll get
like
him a
that.
hat.
Thanks for thanks for the call, Peggy. Appreciate it. Man, we just don't understand what we did.
I look good. I mean, really good. Hey, everyone! Come and see how good I look!
Hey, Whitey, where's your hat?
You're listening to Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Considerable cloudiness today. We do have a shower in places, a high of 36 degrees. Then tonight, the fog's going to roll in and stick around for a while. We'll have rain and drizzle. And tomorrow morning, that fog continues with some light rain, a high of 42 degrees. Let's get the travel times. Anything to worry about, Jim Telemonte?
Yes, Amy. Right now on the southwest side of Chicago, we got a closure of 25th and Sacramento due to a house fire, and fire crews are staging at 26th and Kedzie, so give them plenty of room in that area. On the expressways, the Kennedy inbound, a little heavy now. Cumberland to Foster, 22 minutes, so here to downtown. Outbound 5 to 20. Eden's inbound, just a little slowing approaching the junction. About Eisenhower, slow Manheim to Harlem, 33 minutes. Thorndale to downtown. Outbound 29. Stevenson, just 37 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive. The Ryan, 22 minutes, 95th to downtown. I-57, 23 minutes, I-80 to the merge. Bishop Ford, 18. Tollways are fine. Northwest Indiana as well. Hat-free, ChicagoRadioDeals.com Traffic Center. I'm Jim Talamonte.
And hats off to all of you who helped us reach our goal of feeding 18,000 children in and around the Chicagoland area this holiday season. Real families with real needs that you helped to meet. And we especially want to thank the many business benefactors who've stepped up in a huge way. When you hear their advertisements on this station in the coming months, we encourage you to support them as a way of saying thanks for their generosity. And just because we met our goal in 2015, that does not mean that the need has gone away. Hunger is still a real challenge for thousands of families and children in our area. So please continue to support Feed the Children with a tax-deductible gift of any amount at any time. Just go to feedthechildren.org. And thanks again from all of us here at AM 560, The Answer.
I'm amazed. I want to say thank you to Balance of Nature. You guys are awesome. God bless you. The reason I have so much enthusiasm is because I speak as a person who has investigated the things that are out there. What I see is that there's many, many people telling the same story, and it's ruining it for the people who really are true. You know, up until this point, I had a lot of doubt whether, you know, I have an instinct that there should be something you can spend some money on and get something good, and I hadn't found it, and I believe I have found it this time. So, again, awesome, 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 and thank you.
The top 3 New Year's resolutions are health-related. Improve your odds by getting started early with our best price of the year. Call now to find out how to get your free month's supply of Balance of Nature. Call 800-2468-751. That's 800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com. Use promo code CHICAGO.
This is Sam Gilberto, president of American Embroidery and Screen Printing and American Marketing Products. We specialize in putting your logo on just about anything. Our focus is entirely on you, our customer. We want every customer experience to be outstanding. American Embroidery and Screen Printing is a brick-and-mortar business located in Glendale Heights. Our equipment and manufacturing processes are state-of-the-art, so are the people who work here. With over 40 years' experience, we have the capability, capacity, and know-how to get your job done right and on time. I want to earn your business, so for a limited time, we're offering free artwork on embroidery and screen printing orders for all new customers. Let us help you gear up for that big trade show, provide shirts or jackets for all your employees, students, or church members, or simply provide you with giveaway items such as coffee mugs, pens, or hats. Whatever it is, you can trust an American to take care of it. It's easy to contact us, trustinamerican.com. That's trustinamerican.com, or call at 630-766-2825.
Hey, before you read about it on Facebook or Twitter, well, hear about it from your friends. Find out what today's big stories really mean with me, Sean Hannity, today at 2, right here on AM 560, The Answer.
You know,
Dan and Amy, that's when it's not teen spirit you smell in the studio. It's burning bras. Amy is very upset about this email that was sent to Fox News reporters, female reporters, that they shouldn't wear hats when they're outside doing their their hits for the morning show because they look better without hats on.
See, now, look, I tweeted out a picture of me wearing a hat because I believe that I started the hat trend back in the 90s.
Yeah, you popularized it.
Hey, Fox ladies, hashtag, it's okay to wear hats. I started the trend in 1996. Now, don't you think I look better with a hat on than without one?
I think you're lovely either way. That's a
Wow,
very
what
nice
a diplomatic answer.
Very nice. I'm not getting in trouble in this. I'm not wading into this. A couple of texts. Love Amy, but she doesn't get to NBC if she looks like Elena Kagan. I think 312 may have a point there. Text from Steve on 88. Radio is not a visual medium, but it's not an excuse for letting yourself go, Dan. That's fair, tough but fair criticism from Steve. It's very motivating the new year. I appreciate that, Steve. Mike on the north side, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Good morning. I remember in the 70s when I was a mere lad in grade school and Amy first came to TV, and we were all interested. And, she had her looks. It's just that the good-looking people go to television news. The competent people go to the newspapers or the radio. Now, Amy, don't burn your bridges.
Enough about Mike Scott, yes.
Yeah, well, Amy can always go back to TV. Ugly people get stuck on the radio or on The View.
Yeah.
Now, Dan,
exactly.
unless you're going to The View, you're going to be on for a long, long time. Competency doesn't matter. It's like the Democratic Party or patronage workers. They hire somebody because they fit a certain ethnic stereotype, and then when somebody new or hipper comes along, they get replaced.
That's so true.
Tell me about it, Mike. Thanks for the call. Mirror, mirror on the wall for me. I know. Relegated to this. Don't look at me. I'm hideous.
You did stop wearing the tracksuit, so thank you.
Yeah, I've given up.
Don't dress as if you've given up on life, son.
There's no future for me. Another text from the Amish texter. Dan, more female reporters would get out of the cold and go into the van to warm up if it wasn't for Walter Jacobson sitting in there when he's homeless. Yeah, that can be off-putting. I understand that.
This is the morning show more Chicago radio listeners are choosing. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
The Home Building and Remodeling Expo that Bob Vila promotes is coming to the Lake County Fairgrounds January 16th and 17th. If you're looking to remodel your kitchen, bathroom, basement, or maybe get a new roof, flooring, windows, or insulation, then this is the event for you. At this two-day expo, you'll meet local and national contractors displaying their products and services. Get fresh ideas, arrange estimates, and talk directly with contractors, many of which are offering huge discounts. Maybe you need a new furnace or handyman. You'll find everything you need under one roof. Increase the value of your home and impress your friends and family by getting the hottest updates. Special announcement. Design expert Kelly Edwards of HGTV's Design on a Dime will be presenting both Saturday and Sunday from noon to 1 p.m. and giving away cash and prizes. Remember the Home Building and Remodeling Expo January 16th and 17th at the Lake County Fairgrounds in Grays Lake. Get more information at homeshowevent.com. That's homeshowevent.com.
Gentlemen, Dan Proft here. Every year you make your New Year's resolutions, but you lack the energy and motivation to tackle them. Maybe it's caused by low T. Low testosterone levels can make you feel tired and less motivated to do the things you want to accomplish. If you've been feeling like a grumpy old man lately, it's time to get your testosterone level checked at Low T Center. It's quick, easy, and with their on-site lab, you'll know your results in minutes. I did. Plus, their services are covered by most health insurance. Low T levels can make you feel tired and irritable and can raise your cholesterol and cause weight gain. Low T Center's experienced medical staff will educate you on the benefits and the risks of testosterone replacement. Low T Center even has convenient and flexible hours. So start tackling your New Year's resolutions and call Low T Center today and tell them Dan Proft sent you. The number, 630-409-4305. That's 630-409-4305, or go to lowtcenter.com. The website, lowtcenter.com.
AM 560, The Answer.
And coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer, that Wheaton College professor, she got fired and she fought back. We'll explain. But first, into the newsroom we go. Here is Mike Scott.
Amy and Dan, good morning. Good morning, everyone. We have word from Paris this morning that French police have shot and killed a man who tried to barge into a Paris police station armed with knives. There are reports he may have been wearing a suicide vest as well. Today's incident comes on the one-year anniversary of the terror attack on the Paris office of the satirical tabloid Charlie Hebdo. No winners in last night's Powerball drawing. That means Saturday's jackpot will be the biggest in U.S. lottery history, over $675 million. President Obama will talk about his new gun initiatives today in suburban Washington, D.C., taking part in a town hall meeting on CNN.
The goal of the town hall meeting is for the president to engage with both people who support his position on gun safety, but also to have a conversation with those who don't agree.
Presidential spokesman Josh Earnest. A grand jury in Waller County, Texas, has indicted the state trooper who arrested former suburban Chicago resident Sandra Bland, charging him with perjury for lying about how he took her from the vehicle in Texas last July. Candidates for president have officially filed to get their names on Illinois' primary ballot. All the major Republican and Democratic candidates filed their nominating petitions before the 5 p.m. deadline. The privately run student newspaper at the University of Illinois plans to scale back its print production, focusing on digital delivery. The publisher and general manager of Illini Media says the company that owns the Daily Illini say it will only be printed on Mondays and Thursdays. The move is intended to let Daily Illini staff focus more on the paper's website. The Daily Illini also plans to stop printing its weekly Buzz magazine in March. Chicago sports, Blackhawks over Pittsburgh 3-1. College hoops last night, Southern Illinois over Bradley. Illinois State topped Loyola. Northern Illinois now 12-2. Huskies beat Ohio, and Ohio State topped Northwestern. The Buccaneers have fired head coach Lovie Smith, outfielder Ken Griffey Jr., and catcher Mike Piazza going into the Baseball Hall of Fame. Why no Jack Morris? The news, a service of Think It Up. A check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
The Sean Hannity Show.
I think Americans see Hillary as the third term of Obama. I've got to believe and hope that when 60+% of Americans see somebody as a liar, dishonest, and untrustworthy, I got to hope that Americans are going to take that into account when they go into the voting booth. You know, that's what this next year is going to be about.
The Sean Hannity Show. Afternoons at 2, right before Joe Walsh at 5 on AM 560. The Answer.
LiveWatch helps you connect and respond up to 10 times faster in an emergency. LiveWatch has no long-term contracts. Save up to 50% off home security. Call 855-LiveWatch or visit livewatch.com.
If you suffer from depression, consider TMS, an incredible new advancement in treating and relieving depression.
I'm Gina, and I suffered with depression for 19 years. And like most people, I tried medications, and I couldn't tolerate the side effects, and they never worked properly for me. TMS was a great thing. It helped me out so much. Now I have the sparkle back in my eyes, and I'm able to feel great about life again. It worked really great for me, and I would absolutely recommend it to anybody suffering with depression.
TMS, or transcranial magnetic stimulation, is a safe, non-invasive, and highly effective treatment for drug-resistant depression. Most insurance companies cover TMS, including Blue Cross Blue Shield of Illinois and Medicare. Depression can be beaten, and without drugs. To schedule a free consultation, call Theramind at 847-562-5868 or go to tmsmind.com.
6:33 is our time. Let's get an update on the roads in our ChicagoRadioDeals.com traffic center. Here's Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. Inbound Eden's delays start around Toohey. It's 23 minutes from Lake Cook to Montrose, outbound 19. Kennedy, 25 minutes. O'Hare to downtown, outbound 20. Von Eisenhower, slow Manheim to Harlem. 35 minutes, Thorndale to the Loop, outbound 30. Mount Stevenson, 37 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive. It's fine outbound. Ryan is 22 minutes, 95th to downtown. I-57, 23 minutes, I-80 to the merge, Bishop Ford 18. Tollways are looking good. Traffic is a service of the American Institute of CPAs and the Ad Council. Understanding your finances is a key to a strong financial future. Don't be the one who gets left behind. Visit feedthepig.org for tools and tips to get started on the path to financial stability. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte, AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the AirComfort.com Weather Center. 80 years of quality mechanical solutions for your business. Considerable cloudiness with a shower in spots, high 36. Areas of fog with occasional rain and drizzle, low 34. Low clouds and fog with a bit of rain tomorrow, high 42, and a sharp cool down coming for Sunday and Monday. 34 at O'Hare, 35 along Chicago's lakefront. Your next news update is at 7. Continuous news coverage at 560theanswer.com. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Illinois Rising, hosted by Dan Proft and the Illinois Policy Institute. Sunday afternoons at 3 on AM 560, The Answer.
If you're talking about it, I'll be talking about it. Dennis Prager here. Join me this morning at 11, right here on AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy, she gone. Dr. Larisha Hawkins, that Wheaton College professor who posted on social media last month that I love my Muslim neighbor because he deserves love by virtue of his human dignity. Yep. I stand in religious solidarity with Muslims because they, like me, a Christian, are people of the book. And as Pope Francis stated last week, we worship the same God. Nope. And the last part is the problem. And it runs contrary to the statement of faith that Dr. Hawkins signed as a condition of her employment at Wheaton College, which is an evangelical college, and she wouldn't walk it back in, and so she's gone. Any problems with that? 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line, 64636DA, turnkey.pro text line, or you can download our mobile app, AM560, The Answer mobile app, and you can email or text us from there.
And she didn't leave gracefully. She had a news conference yesterday. She was flanked with members from the Jewish faith, Muslims, fellow Christians. Your favorite, Reverend Jesse Jackson, was standing right behind her.
Isn't it not a reverend?
All right, well, he was standing right behind her, too, and compared her to Rosa Parks, by the way. But anyway, yeah, he did. He did. When he got up and spoke, he briefly said, like, she's an everyday Rosa Parks.
What a disgrace to the memory and the courage of Rosa Parks. But that's what Jesse Jackson traffics in, disgraceful comments, so I'm not surprised.
And
by the way,
speaking of disgraceful.
Speaking of Jesse Jackson, does anybody seek out Jesse Jackson for a comment? Is anybody interested in what he has to say other than the white Chicago media? And the answer is no.
Well, here's what she said. With Jesse Jackson standing right behind her, here's Dr. Larisha Hawkins.
No one's safe. And that's what the message Wheaton College should hear. None of my students are safe. None of my colleagues are safe.
Is she right? Because I know that's the popular version of what went on there. A lot of people like to believe that. I wish I could, but I was there in Wheaton. I wasn't there in the classroom, hoping I was right, thinking I was right. I was up to my knees in rice. Oh, no, that's Professor Turgeson from Back to School.
Yes, but she took a hit, I think, at the Republican candidates for president.
Wheaton College cannot intimidate me into cowering in fear of the enemy of the month as defined by real estate moguls, senators from Texas, Christians from this country, bigots, and fundamentalists of all stripes.
It's not the
Can
enemy.
you help me
it's not the enemy.
interpret that?
It's not the enemy of the month. It's the enemy of the last 1,200 years. Point of order. Talking about radical Islamists. So it's not been.
But
it's
even
not been a month.
some students, because a lot of students supported her, they had a protest for her.
Reinstate DACA! Reinstate DACA!
And it divided the student body. I mean, she's a very popular
It divided
political
the student.
science
It divided the student
professor.
body. It divided the student body. 95% of the student body supports the college's action, and a few people in a left-wing drum circle that you just
mean
played.
These loudmouths?
It's not about theology. It's about the act of love and the act of kindness, and treating people of different faiths as humans before we treat them as issues.
Yeah, you need to stay after class for additional instruction because that's not the issue. And it's a small group of people, as I said, in the drum circle that are supporting her that's not representative of the college. And again, just to be clear on this, she said, we worship the same God. That is a theological problem that is inconsistent with her statement of faith. It's inconsistent with the evangelical mission of Wheaton College. She knew that. She signed the statement of faith per her employment. And it is pretty clear that is not the belief. To point this out, according to Islam, Allah neither begets nor is begotten, which explicitly rejects the Trinity. So this is a theological question in different religious traditions. And if she doesn't want to respect the religious tradition that she said she would respect and promote as a professor at Wheaton College, then she can go say whatever she wants. She can go write whatever she wants on Facebook. She's just not going to do it as a professor at Wheaton College. What's the problem?
Well, people think that her free speech is being tampered on and tampered with
how?
because she wrote this on Facebook. And that's a form of, just monitoring her free speech. But I get it. She signed an agreement, and the students have to sign the same agreement.
She signed a statement of faith, and she must hold herself accountable to that statement of faith.
Yeah, there you go. So Wheaton College is still on the list for Peyton and Eli. They can go to Wheaton College. So keep that on the list. It's a good liberal arts school. I, of course, hail from Wheaton.
Yes, that's true.
And
our program director, Marcus Brown, he's a Wheaton College grad. And,
Right.
she just thought that once she took off the hijab and the issue was over, that she would be able to go back to class.
They did not give me Jesus, and they can't take him away from me.
Amen.
Amen.
She brought up Jesus.
It's silliness. I mean, who's taking Jesus away from anybody? What is she talking about?
That's what she said during the press conference yesterday.
I know that's what she said.
Attack on her religious freedom.
It's like listening to President Obama. It's because you don't have a substantive leg to stand on. You engage in all this ancillary hyperventilating about issues that nobody is challenging. You worship whatever God you want and however you want to worship that God.
Well, this is going to make your head spin. One of the students showed up at yesterday's press conference.
That to me.
And that's not the student. Here's the student.
I feel ashamed. We come to a liberal arts college to learn how to learn.
Well, it's not working out too well for her to this point.
312-642-5600 is our turnkey.pro answer line number.
And by the way, what is this, like, no one is safe here rap?
I know.
No one's safe. And that's what the message Wheaton College should hear. None of my students are safe. None of my colleagues are safe.
Safe from what?
From if you say something that's against this statement that you signed, that they could get rid of you. That's what she was saying.
Is that, who's surprised by that? I signed a statement. It's like signing a code of conduct. I signed the statement of faith. This is what I believe, and this is what I will adhere to. And then I don't, and I'm not safe anymore.
No, nobody's safe.
I broke my oath. I violated my pledge, and now there are consequences. So I'm unsafe, and everybody else is too. No, just the ones who act like you do and violate their oath. That's all. Randy and Crown Point, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Morning, guys. It's about time that the Christians start standing up. I look at Wheaton and I would hail them as heroes in this, because they absolutely did what not many religions are doing today, is standing up for what they believe in. And what they've done here should be a statement for all Christians to learn and understand.
Thanks for the call, Randy. Succinctly said.
Now, Wheaton College, they did not release a comment, but they said that she was told further discussions were required. College officials changed their requirements and said that she would have to participate in 2 years of ongoing conversations, during which time her tenure would be revoked. So she could have stayed, but her tenure would have been revoked, but she would have to go to similar like counseling for 2 years.
Right. And then
the next communication was the notice of termination proceedings.
Yeah, so the problem was that there were consequences. So that's the problem.
And that didn't fit in with her agenda.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that made her feel unsafe.
That's the problem. This is a real sad story for Larisha Hawkins. Real sad. Julia in Bloomington, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hi, I was just thinking the minute this all kind of blew up is that it's just a business. In a job, you get paid a certain amount of money to do a certain job, and you both sign the agreement. She had an assignment, and she nixed her end of the deal. So I think people are getting carried away with religion and freedom of this and freedom of that. She agreed. She agreed to do a certain thing a certain way for a certain group of people for a certain group of money.
That's right.
And then, now she sees herself as a victim. Yep.
That's right.
Now she's the victim of the agreement that she signed and that she broke.
Thanks
it
for the
doesn't make any sense.
Thanks for the call, Julia. I think that's well put. I think that's exactly right. And then they took Jesus away from her. Tom in Oswego, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Like my Jesus, baby
Good
Jesus.
morning, guys.
Hey.
My three children went to a Christian high school, and unfortunately my son, as a junior, got kicked out of high school for violating one of the rules. It was pretty strict. It was an alcohol policy, on or off campus 24 hours a day, and we lived with it. Well, a lot of the kids from this high school go to Wheaton College. And these are faith-based organizations. And if the teachers don't want to adhere to the rules, then don't teach there. As simple as that.
Yeah. Now, Tom, with respect to your son, was Jesus also taken away from him?
Not at all. As a matter of fact, Jesus strengthened our faith. So, no, not at all.
Thanks for the call, Tom. Appreciate it.
And, there was one imam at the press conference yesterday who said that now he better understands Jesus and God because of her actions.
That, to me, did not cause me to wonder whether she was diluting the message of Christianity, but rather it taught me that this is what Jesus is about.
About love. Jesus is about love. But then
that's true. Jesus is love. The imam didn't know that before?
No, he did not know that before.
And by the way, that imam was also representing CARE, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
They don't come out, for the Paris attacks, but they come out for this.
That's worth
They
noting.
don't denounce, the Muslims, the radicals, after the hundreds are killed. But when she almost gets fired, that's when they come out and talk. I sound really mad.
Matt.
Those imams.
Matt in, is it Osage Beach, Missouri?
Yes, good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, I was from Oak Forest, and I got to follow you wherever I go. I love you guys.
Thank you, man.
Thanks.
Yeah, she's right. Nobody's safe. I mean, come on. There's a bill in the House to make talking about Islam in a negative way a crime. And if a Muslim feels like they're being bullied or anything, they can come after you. But I don't see anything in there about Christian or Jew or Mennonites or anything like that. But they specifically call out Muslims in this.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. And you know what? Her freedom of speech, yeah, she's got freedom of speech. However, if you sign an agreement that you're this or that and you're not going to do this or that, either stick with it or face the consequences.
Thanks for the call, Matt. I mean, it would be like, it's just to analogize this a little bit. It would be like we sign an agreement to do the show. We sign an employment contract to do this show. And then we came on this show every morning and started playing 80s records. We're just going to play 80s music.
Because we feel like
I don't want to talk about news and politics anymore.
Yeah.
I'm just going to spin some records.
I did make that
It's my free expression. What? And then Jesse Jackson would be standing here calling us Common Day Rosa Parks.
Yeah, that's what he called her. Unbelievable.
What a disgrace. What a disgrace. What a disgusting human being he is, truly. Jack and Aurora, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
The university offered to meet with her multiple times, and she refused.
Yeah, she
wants to be a martyr, and she wants to
be a martyr.
Doesn't want to go through 2 years of counseling, essentially.
Yeah, it's a good point, Jack. Thanks for the call.
The stories you need to know to start your day. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
A little bit of warm weather coming our way, and we should enjoy it because next week we're going to be in the teens. Yikes. Today, considerable cloudiness, shower in places, a high of 36. Tomorrow, we're going to hit a high of 42 degrees with morning fog and a little rain. And then next week, well, we'll just wait for that until next week. Let's get the travel times. Here's Jim Telemonte.
Thanks, Amy. Inbound Eden slow starting around Toohey. 25 minutes, Lake Cook to Montrose, outbound 20. Kennedy with delay starting at Cumberland. 27 minutes, O'Hare to downtown, outbound 22. About Eisenhower. 35 minutes, Thorndale to the post office, outbound 30. Stevenson is 40 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive. The Ryan, 22 minutes, 95th to downtown. Northbound Tri-State now slow from the Reagan Tollway to 290, especially on the ramp to the outbound Ike. Northbound Veterans Memorial, a little sluggish. Butterfield to St. Charles. The other tollways are fine. No problems to report at all in northwest Indiana. I'm Jim Talamonte, ChicagoRadioDeals.com Traffic Center.
I'm Lou Dobbs. Storm clouds forming over Wall Street. Trading in the Shanghai market halted for the second time this week. Crude oil at a more than 7-year low. Those stories next.
Is negative content or comments on the web affecting your personal or professional reputation? Unfavorable comments, embarrassing pictures, videos, legal documents, and bad tweets can ruin your personal life, your career, or your business. It happens a lot, and it's just not fair. But what can you do? Reputation.com can protect your good name. Get a free consultation now at 800-651-4888. That's 800-651-4888. Call right now for a free expert reputation analysis. It's easy to squash the unfair attacks with our patented system, and the analysis is absolutely free. Make the best things about you jump out in searches. Protect your personal and professional reputation, your business, and your income. Get your free reputation analysis right now. Call 800-651-4888. 800-651-4888. 800-651-4888.
Investors bracing for what could be another turbulent session of trading on Wall Street. Trading in Shanghai suspended for the second time this week after stocks fell more than 7%. The plunge follows China's devaluation of its currency by 0.5% against the dollar, the biggest cut since August. The devaluation likely to spur more turbulence in the currency and commodity markets. Gasoline and crude oil plunging more than 5% yesterday, crude at a more than 7-year low, under $34 a barrel. Wall Street investors also reacting to earnings reports and readings on the health of the labor market, and comments from Fed officials Lacker and Evans could affect markets as well, both talking about the health of the economy and interest rates today. Please join us for Lou Dobbs tonight at 7 and 11 Eastern on the Fox Business Network. This is the Lou Dobbs Financial Report.
On AM 560 The Answer, we talk about the important issues that affect your world. Things like the economy, education, and foreign policy. There's always so much going on in the news that we don't always have the time to drill down and talk about the big ideas behind the big issues. That's where Upstream Ideas comes in. Upstream Ideas, online at upstream-ideas.com, in partnership with the Illinois Opportunity Project, provides the kind of information that informs the policy discussions happening here on AM 560. At Upstream Ideas, you'll broaden the debate, move beyond partisan assumptions, and challenge accepted orthodoxies. In other words, Upstream Ideas goes against the current and thinks upstream. Go online now to upstream-ideas.com. That's upstream-ideas.com. You'll be armed with new information and fresh perspectives to spur you on to make the state of Illinois and the United States of America a bit more free, a bit more just, and a bit more civilized. Upstream-ideas.com.
Hey, I have rhythm. I love to dance, and I've been told that I dance pretty well. But I'm also totally blind, which means that sometimes my circadian rhythms can get totally out of step with the world around me. Circadian rhythms are regulated by our internal master body clock. But because I can't perceive light, my body clock simply doesn't know what time it is. This can have me wide awake in the middle of the night and fighting to stay awake during the day. That can affect relationships and make it difficult to be productive at work. And it can make every day a real challenge. It's not my imagination. It's called Non-24, and it affects up to 70% of people who are totally blind. So if you're like me, you're not alone, and there is hope. Call 855-856-2424 today, or visit learnmorenon24.com to find out more about Non-24. Because learning more about Non-24 is the first step to getting your rhythm back.
Sponsored by Vanda Pharmaceuticals.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy, speaking of religious conflict here, this story that I mentioned on Monday, Cologne, Germany, kind of an underreported story, although the Associated Press did pick it up. Cologne, Germany, New Year's Eve, it's just stunning.
I thought you were joking at first.
And that there's not more conversation about it. The report is that something on the order of 1,000 men that, according to eyewitnesses, looked as if they were of North African or Middle East descent, were around the train station in Cologne, and they were kind of sexually, well, they were kind of.
Well, they were grabbing women and
sexually assaulting
them.
women.
Yeah.
But it
was a mass, like a flash mob, if so to speak, of men just attacking women.
The
disgusting.
One witness, a gentleman named Ivan Jurcevic, I hope I'm pronouncing his right name, works at a bouncer at a hotel overlooking the square where hundreds of women were reported, I should say, they were sexually assaulted and robbed. He said the violence started with a stabbing that left a person in critical condition, and then people started shooting fireworks at a domed cathedral in the area. said he condemned this witness said he condemned anti-Muslim propaganda during the refugee crisis in Germany, but he couldn't believe what he had witnessed. These people that we welcomed just 3 months ago with teddy bears and water bottles at the railroad station in Munich started shooting at the dome and then
raping the women
and assaulting women. Women were afraid of crossing the square. They asked this bouncer to escort them. Jurcevic saying, please, reporting what some of these women had said to him, please, can we just stand next to you? We fear those people over there. They are chasing after us all the time. And he then witnessed several men getting brutally assaulted for trying to protect the women.
And the worst part is the mayor of that town, female mayor, she advised women to adopt a code of conduct. So she's victim blaming. She told women to stick together, don't split up, even if you're in a party mood. I mean, this woman's sick. She's a pro-immigrant, person. She's, she wants to take in more refugees. And what is that doing for her own constituents, her own people? They're getting raped.
We say all the time, political correctness rots the mind.
You've made the switch, and it feels so good. You've switched to Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Are you or someone you know facing foreclosure? Losing the family home? Well, you'd be not alone, so please listen to this. There are a lot of issues in a foreclosure, legal issues, factual issues. Dozens so far, and more coming to light every day. You see, people, we are in the aftermath of what will go down in history as the greatest financial crime in history, from which a lot of people profited immensely. And these people did not always do things entirely legally. That is a foregone conclusion. I'm Lou Bridges. I put together a law firm dedicated to foreclosure defense and to avoiding foreclosure by working with the banks, based on a thorough examination and analysis of all the potential issues and questions. And we have surrounded ourselves with people equally committed to this pursuit of justice.
Call 224-513-1231. That's 224-513-1231. Or visit FightIllinoisForeclosures.com. That's FightIllinoisForeclosures.com. Get real answers from a real foreclosure defense firm and discover the legal tools at your disposal.
Are you living with prostate enlargement? Do you pee more often than you used to? Do you wake up to go? Be honest. Is there a drop in your romantic life? Prostate problems don't go away on their own, so you need to call for a free bottle of Super Beta Prostate, the #1 non-prescription formula for your prostate. The ingredients are natural. With Super Beta Prostate, you'll have less urges to urinate, less waking at night, and an improvement in your romantic life, guaranteed. Try it for free. Pay only shipping and handling. Just call 1-800-317-7853. Super Beta Prostate is so powerful, you'd have to take 100 saw palmetto capsules to get the same active ingredient in just one Super Beta Prostate tablet. Stop running to the bathroom and call us now for your free bottle. Hurry, this free offer won't last. Just call 1-800-317-7853. That's 1-800-317-7853. 1-800-317-7853.
Lately, it seems you're not feeling quite right, as if your body is working against you. Dr. Amy and Associates can help create a path to achieve optimal health. Experience personalized health care for your mind, body, and spirit at a practice that blends holistic and traditional medicine.
Hi, I'm Dr. Amy Harris-Nuon of Dr. Amy and Associates. As an integrative health and wellness center, we take a team approach to your health care, so we welcome the opportunity to work collaboratively with your current health care provider. We're different from today's typical standard of care because our focus is understanding the root cause of your health problem, not just treating the symptoms. It's a personalized approach that explores a wide range of proven treatments and one that's focused on helping you achieve your health and wellness goals so you can achieve a full, happy, and satisfying life.
Call Dr. Amy and Associates to experience a whole-person integrative approach to health and wellness. 630-980-1400 or visit DrAmyAndAssociates.com. Dr. Amy and Associates, empowering people, changing lives.
Paid non-attorney spokesperson. Jacoby and Myers Mass Torts with Principal Office in Alabama is responsible for the content of this ad. This ad is not legal advice, and the choice of a lawyer should not be based solely upon advertisements. Services may not be available in all states. Attention! This is an important announcement for anyone who had surgery to implant a blood clot device. If you or a loved one had a surgery in the past 10 years and your doctor used an IVC filter to trap blood clots, call 800-264-3934 right now. These devices can be life-threatening, and you may be entitled to significant cash compensation. The FDA is evaluating advanced adverse events caused by these blood clot devices, which can lead to complications and serious injury. Call 800-264-3934 right now. These devices could break and lead to serious injury. Call now as time is limited. Call 800-264-3934 if you or a loved one has one of these dangerous blood clot devices, as you may be entitled to a cash award and compensation. Our toll-free phone lines are open 24/7. Call 800-264-3934. That's 800-264-3934. 800-264-3934.
We'll have a complete look at your weather forecast after Fox News, WIND, Chicago News Times, 7 o'clock.
Fox News Radio. I'm Dave Anthony. An armed attacker shot dead in Paris. And he may have been a wannabe terrorist. This is France remembers a deadly attack 1 year ago. Fox's Simon Owen live in our European bureau.
Dave, it's the anniversary of the attack on satirical newspaper Charlie Hebdo. Islamic extremists killed 12 people at its Paris offices. Today, French police shooting a man dead as he attempted to enter a police station in Paris. There are reports he shouted, "God is great," in Arabic. Officials saying the man had a knife and wires protruding from his clothes, a suspected suicide vest. But after a robot checked his body, the latest reports suggest that vest was a fake. Dave?
Simon, we may be in for another big sell-off on Wall Street, made in China. Stock futures are plunging nearly 400 for the Dow after trading was halted again overnight in China as that market plunged, triggering a lot of selling worldwide. But worry not. With $2, you could win $675 million.
First things first, Mom needs a mansion and a yacht and a submarine to attach to that yacht.
He's in Florida, ready to try again Saturday to win what's become a record U.S. lottery jackpot since no one hit the Powerball last night. A group of miners trapped underground in New York are being rescued right now. They've been stuck in a salt mine elevator 900 feet down since late last night.
They've been provided with jackets, hand warmers, and other items to make sure that they're warm until they can get extricated.
Spokeswoman for Tompkins County, Marsha Lynch. So far, 8 of the 17 have been rescued. House Republicans have passed a bill they know will be vetoed, repealing Obamacare.
Ultimately, this is going to require a Republican president.
House Speaker Paul Ryan. Democrats call it pointless and claim the GOP is attacking women's health care, defunding Planned Parenthood's also in the bill. Worried about eating eggs or too much salt? New government dietary guidelines are just out, backing off the more strict version last time on sodium intake and removing a recommendation to cap cholesterol. Also new, a guideline that sugar should only make up 10% of your calories. Fox News Radio, fair and balanced.
Cloudy and 32 degrees, 7:02 on AM 560. The Answer. Good morning, I'm Mike Scott. A grand jury in Waller County, Texas, has indicted the state trooper who arrested former suburban Chicago resident Sandra Bland, charging him with perjury for lying about how he took her from a vehicle last July. We get an update on this story from AM 560's David Stewart.
Sandra Bland was arrested after a traffic stop that became combative, an incident caught on police video.
I'm going to drag you out of here. So you're threatening to drag me out of my own car? Get out of the car! And then I will light you up. Get out!
She was found dead in her cell days later in what was ruled a suicide. Now a grand jury has charged the arresting officer, Brian Encinia, with misdemeanor perjury for lying about how he took Bland from her car. If convicted, he could serve a year in jail and pay a $4,000 fine.
Put your phone down right now.
David Stewart, Chicago.
Police in Zion fatally shot a man authorities say was wearing a tactical-style homemade vest, carrying a BB or airsoft gun, and then taking photographs of several schools. Lake County sheriffs say the 38-year-old man was killed Wednesday morning after leading officers on a foot chase and then engaging in a struggle. Recovery crew members are walking the shores of a southern Wisconsin lake in their search for a fourth missing man from Illinois. The bodies of 3 other men from the northern suburbs have been recovered from Mill Lake in Walworth County. A Wheaton College professor speaking out after the Christian and Evangelical school announced they were moving to fire her. Lauricia Hawkins telling supporters yesterday,
Wheaton College cannot intimidate me into cowering in fear of the enemy of the month as defined by real estate moguls, senators from Texas, Christians from this country, bigots, and fundamentalists of all stripes.
Wheaton College say her views now contradict that college's, and she refused to participate in subsequent clarifying conversations. Meantime, university officials would only say that the college disagrees with many of the facts presented in the press conference held by the professor yesterday, but admires her commitment to care for Muslim neighbors. Chicago sports was the Blackhawks over Pittsburgh 3-1, and on the college hardwoods, Southern Illinois, Illinois State, Northern Illinois, all with wins. Ohio State topped Northwestern. Add the Buccaneers to the list of teams looking for a new head football coach as Tampa Bay fired former Bears coach Lovie Smith. The news is a service of Think It Up and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
The weather in Chicago is cold. The weather in Los Cabos, Mexico is warm and sunny. AM 560 wants to send you to Los Cabos with Dan and Amy this April. Enter to win an all-expenses-paid trip to Secrets Porto Los Cabos Golf and Spa Resort, courtesy of Apple Vacations. The only way to enter to win is through the AM 560 The Answer mobile app. So download the mobile app today and enter to win a trip to Los Cabos.
I'm Nick Soboleski, a Select Quote agent with a true story that could save you hundreds of dollars a year. A woman named Linda just called. Her husband, Ray, has a $300,000 group life insurance policy, but is changing jobs and can't take it with him. Well, I impartially shopped the highly rated term life insurance companies we represent and found Ray, who is 41 and takes medication to control his cholesterol, a 10-year, $500,000 policy for under $26 a month. That's almost twice the coverage for less than half of what he had paid. If SelectQuote hasn't shopped for your life insurance, you're probably paying too much.
For your free quote, call 1-800-467-5125. That's 1-800-467-5125. 1-800-467-5125. Or go to SelectQuote.com. We shop, you save. Get full details on the example policy at SelectQuote.com/commercials. Your price can vary depending on your health, issuing company, and other factors not available in all states.
7:06. Let's get an update on the roads. In our ChicagoRadioDeals.com traffic center, here is Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. It's heavy on the inbound Edens between Cicero and the Junction. Just 21 minutes now from Lake Cook to Montrose. Outbound 23. It's slow out to Toohey. Inbound Kennedy, delays start at Cumberland. 30 minutes O'Hare to downtown. 15 from Montrose. 13 in the Express. Outbound 28 minutes downtown to O'Hare. There's a stall near Ohio blocking the right lane. Inbound Eisenhower, 42 minutes, Thorndale to the post office. Outbound 30, Stevenson. Now 44 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Outbound 5 to 34. Inbound Ryan, 22 minutes, 95th to downtown. I-57, Bishop Ford, both 21 minutes, I-80 to the merge. Lakeshore Drive is clear. Northbound Tri-State slow, Reagan Toll at 290. Northbound Veterans Memorial, heavy Butterfield to Roosevelt. Southbound 53. A little sluggish, Palatine Road to Northwest Highway. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast. From the AirComfort.com Weather Center, 80 years of quality mechanical solutions for your business. Here's meteorologist Kevin Snyder.
Today, considerable cloudiness with a shower in places with a high 37. Then tonight, areas of fog with occasional rain and drizzle, a low 34. Low clouds and fog with a little rain tomorrow, high 42. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560. The Answer.
34 at O'Hare, 35 along the lakefront. Your next news update at 7:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560. The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Kelly Financial Services, helping you secure your financial future today. Visit kellyfinancialservicesinc.com.
Good morning. Welcome to your Thursday morning briefing. Here's what you need to know to start your day.
We are confronting the president with the hard, honest truth. Obamacare doesn't work.
I will defend the Affordable Care Act, which the Republicans are trying to repeal, but they never tell you what they would put in its place.
Do you still think he's ineligible to be president because he was born in Canada?
No, from what I understand, everything is fine. Well, I would say that he can't be president. If you're not born in this country, you can't be president.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Good morning, Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson. And Amy, this is our next guest is an individual who should really be a household name. I mean, he's well known in certain academic circles and intellectual circles, but he honestly is one of these people that should have a show on Fox News Channel or something, so that the quality of his thinking and writing and argumentation could have much wider exposure than it's had. I would encourage everyone who has not, and we've had him on the show before, but I want to make this point because we spend so much time talking about people who have very little to say that is of any import, starting with the President of the United States. So I want to point to somebody who almost everything he says is important and thought-provoking. He's Theodore Dalrymple. If you're not familiar with his work, get familiar with it. His latest book is Admirable Evasions, How Psychology Undermines Morality. He's a fellow at the Manhattan Institute, and he has so many of my favorite quotes because he's a very entertaining writer in addition to intellectual one. One of them is about social media, the era of Facebook and Twitter and social media. Mm-hmm. Social media is where you pretend to be interested in my trivia, and I pretend to be interested in your trivia. And for
That's well put.
It is,
and it's true.
And for good measure, I posted that on Facebook.
Oh, okay, good.
Theodore Dalrymple joins us now. Mr. Dr. Dalrymple, thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate it.
Well, thank you very much for asking me.
So I want to, and by the way, I think I mentioned you're a retired psychiatrist, right?
Yes.
So I want to start with what the president had to say on guns, and in particular, one of the proposals that is generally accepted without question or thought, the idea that doctors should be able to refer patients who have mental illness, however that's defined these days, to the government so that their access to being able to purchase a weapon would be eliminated. Their constitutional right in this country would be eliminated. What do you make of that proposal?
Well, in Britain, we had a not dissimilar proposal that doctors should speculate on the dangerousness of people. And one of the things, of course, is that this transfers the responsibility for keeping order from the government to the doctors, so that when something untoward happens, they can say, "Oh, well, it's all the doctor's fault." But in fact, doctors are not really much better than other people at predicting the future behavior of people. So I think this is to give doctors a power which they don't seek, or shouldn't seek anyway. They have sought it in the past, and they've had their fingers burnt, as it were. So I don't think it's very sensible.
Well, and it raises other questions too about the definition of mental illness.
Yeah.
I mean, you write in your book, you make this point as you kind of do a distillation of various schools of psychological practice, going back to the fraud of Freud to present-day psychobabble and antidepressants. 15% of America takes some sort of antidepressant. You have a lot of veterans that are coming back from combat that have PTSD. Should we eliminate their constitutional right as a matter of course because they have a mental challenge? Is a mental challenge the same thing as a mental illness?
Well, let's put it like this. There's always the problem of the false positive and the false negative. So that, for example, I remember, let me give you a case in point. I had a patient who came to me. He was dressed in military kind of garb. He was a complete civilian. He'd never been in any kind of army. And he was a member of a gun club. And he was a militant vegetarian.
Militant vegetarian?
A militant vegetarian.
Okay.
And he told me that he was so angry when he went into a supermarket and saw people buying meat. He was so angry on behalf of the animals that he felt that he would like to shoot them all, the people buying the meat. And of course, I was a little bit worried about this.
But what do you do?
A slightly unusual approach to the question. And I was very worried that one day he would go and do it. But this is 25 years later, and of course he hasn't done it.
But where you live, I mean, do you have a responsibility if that was to happen in the present day? Do you have a responsibility to report that?
No.
To the police? No.
No, because he hasn't. You have a responsibility. If he said, "I'm going to go and shoot Mrs. Smith,"
okay,
then I would have a responsibility, because when someone says, I'm going to shoot Mrs. Smith, Mrs. Smith, I think, should be informed and about the danger. And in fact, it's illegal. I don't know, but I'm sure in America as well, to utter a threat to kill a specific person.
Right.
But someone who says, I feel like I could go and kill a lot of people, you have no responsibility. And in fact, the vast majority of people who say things like that never carry it out.
We're talking to Theodore Dalrymple. He's a retired psychiatrist, noted author. His latest book is Admirable Evasions, How Psychology Undermines Morality. And to the subtitle of your book, you write in your book, the idea that no man does wrong knowingly, for if he knew what was right, he would automatically do it, has been replaced by the idea that no man does wrong healthily. What did you mean by that?
What I mean is that all human misbehavior, if you like, comes from some kind of psychological or psychiatric illness, which is clearly not the case.
So that's the contention, and that gets us into this. We shouldn't be talking about guns. We should be talking about mental illness. We should treat guns as a public health epidemic, just to use guns as an example to try and illustrate the point you're making.
Yes. I mean, it's no, I don't believe that all bad behavior comes, I'm afraid, from mental illness. Yes.
To the mass shootings that we've had here in the States, most of them, the gunmen, they suffer from some form of mental illness. What do you think psychologically happened to them for them to become such barbaric monsters?
Well, I think some of them, shall we say, are born peculiar. Mm-hmm. And then they have various problems, no doubt, at home. For every person, if you take the profile of someone who does that, you will actually find 1,000 people who fit that profile who don't do it.
And so you spent some time as part of your practice in British prisons, right?
Yes.
So let's talk about violence more generally, and the criminal mind, if you will, and your assessment of how we talk about punishment for crimes, how we mete out punishment for crimes, and the intersection between psychological treatment of people who've committed criminal acts and punishment for those criminal acts they've committed.
Well, there are very interesting things to say about this. If you look at the statistics, at least in Britain, of people who are received into prison, overwhelmingly, of course, they're men, not women, and you see that criminality actually just declines spontaneously by the age of 39. So if you take the crimes for which most prisoners are imprisoned in Britain, which are burglary and various kinds of assault, you will find that 98% of them, roughly speaking, are between the ages of 21 and 39, and they're not subsequently re-imprisoned after the age of 39. Now, of course, you could say, which I don't believe, that they get better at disguising what they do, at escaping justice, but I don't think that's the explanation. It disappears spontaneously. I think that there's considerable evidence that the way in which we treat, the way in which we punish, has some effect on the overall level of violence in society. And we have become in Britain much, much more lenient over the years. I worked it out that for every indictable crime in the year 1900, there were, for every prisoner, there were 6 indictable crimes per year. And by 2000, when there were 114 indictable crimes per prisoner. And this meant, of course, that they were being treated much more leniently. And I don't think you'd have to be a great genius to work out in which of those two periods there was more crime.
Yeah, right. That's interesting. And so one of the my other favorite observations in your book is you say that improved sewer systems have created I'm paraphrasing. Improved sewer systems have created more benefit to Western civilization than psychology. It's kind of an odd thing for a licensed psychiatrist to say. Why do you say that?
Well, it's perfectly obvious because we don't have epidemics of typhoid and cholera anymore, let alone other diseases that come from bad water, contaminated water.
Well, I think we all agree that improved sewers is a good thing, but the hit on psychology is the interesting part of that statement.
Well, you see, my view is that psychology hasn't increased our self-understanding at all, and I don't deny that it may, in individual cases, do some good. Obviously, I believe that. But I think its overall cultural effect has been bad, in that it has divorced man from his own experience, so that he no longer feels that his own experience is really his own. He attributes it to something outside himself. So it's not really me that does this, it's my neurotransmitters or it's my genes or whatever explanation there is. And so I think it actually helps to make man more dishonest, more self-exculpating overall.
Well,
though, as I say, it does help in some cases.
No, I mean, it's important because it's an important observation, an important discussion, because the direction is this is how we're going to remedy all of the ills that exist in society, all of the bad behavior of men is through a better understanding of the mind and through all of these treatments that, as you suggest, kind of divorce man from responsibility for what he does.
Yes, I mean, T.S. Eliot put it very well. We are going to make a society that is so perfect that no one will have to be good.
He is Theodore Dalrymple. His latest book, Admirable Evasions, How Psychology Undermines Morality. Dr. Dalrymple, thanks again for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
Hear about the big stories of the day, then talk about them right here on Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Considerable cloudiness this morning, a shower in places, but not too bad. A high of 36 degrees. Tomorrow into the 40s we go. We'll have low clouds and fog in the morning with a little rain and a high of 42 degrees. Let's get the travel times. Any good news there? Here's Jim Telemonte.
Amy, for the most part, traffic is a little bit lighter than you'd expect, given it's already past 7:20 in the morning. We do have a closure in Lake Bluff. 43 is shut down north of 176 due to a crash. The Edens Expressway is 21 minutes Lake Cook to Montrose, outbound 23. Kennedy's getting heavier slowly, 33 minutes O'Hare to downtown, outbound 25. Eisenhower, 42 minutes, Thorndale to the Loop, outbound 31. Stevenson, 47 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive. It's fine outbound. Ryan is 22 minutes, 95th to downtown. Northbound Tri-State, there are slow pockets between the Stevenson and 31st, and from the Reagan Tollway to 290. Northbound Veterans Memorial, see mild delays. Maple to the Reagan Tollway and Butterfield to Roosevelt. I'm Jim Talamonte, ChicagoRadioDeals.com Traffic Center.
My name is Dr. Howard. I've recommended Balance of Nature for over 15 years because of the excellent results I see in my patients. Balance of Nature doesn't make any claims of treating or curing any particular disease, but I think the results speak for themselves.
When I started on this, I stopped my blood pressure and my cholesterol medicine. My blood pressure after a week since then has been normal, and my bad cholesterol dropped 27 points in 3 weeks, and my overall cholesterol dropped like 25 points. So I'm good. So I'm not taking anything.
The top 3 New Year's resolutions are health-related. Improve your odds by getting started early with our best price of the year. Call now to find out how to get your free month's supply of Balance of Nature. Call 800-2468-751. That's 800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com. Use promo code CHICAGO.
Hey, I have rhythm. I love to dance, and I've been told that I dance pretty well. But I'm also totally blind, which means that sometimes my circadian rhythms can get totally out of step with the world around me. Circadian rhythms are regulated by our internal master body clock. But because I can't perceive light, my body clock simply doesn't know what time it is. This can have me wide awake in the middle of the night and fighting to stay awake during the day. That can affect relationships and make it difficult to be productive at work. And it can make every day a real challenge. It's not my imagination. It's called Non-24, and it affects up to 70% of people who are totally blind. So if you're like me, you're not alone, and there is hope. Call 855-856-2424 today, or visit learnmorenon24.com to find out more about Non-24. Because learning more about Non-24 is the first step to getting your rhythm back.
Sponsored by Vanda Pharmaceuticals.
CertaPro are the experts in exterior painting, but now is the perfect time to paint your interior, refresh and renew your living space, and escape the winter doldrums. Hi, Amy Jacobson here, and I've used CertaPro several times to paint my home. They're fast, efficient, clean. CertaPro is easy to work with, so your life won't be disrupted by messy, inconsiderate contractors. They will move the furniture, and when they finish, they'll move it back. With their color specialist, CertaPro takes the stress out of choosing the perfect color. CertaPro painters, we do painting, you do life. Call CertaPro today at 1-800-GO-CERTA or visit CertaPro.com. 1-800-GO-CERTA, 1-800-GO-CERTA. That's CERTA with the C. Book your winter painting project now. Schedule your free estimate today. CertaPro painters are locally owned and operated. 1-800-GO-CERTA, 1-800-GO-CERTA. That's CERTA with the C.
You want more than just the headlines? Find out what's going on and what it means with me, Dennis Prager, this morning at 11, right here on AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy, 7:35, we've got Dr. Jim Rigg, who's the superintendent of Catholic schools for the Archdiocese of Chicago, talk about school closings and CPS. Speaking of CPS, the School Systems Inspector General released its annual report on Monday, and it finds that CPS should be taken over by the Archdiocese. Well, that's not exactly what it found.
I don't think that was the findings of the report.
No, but it found Chicago Public School employees engaged in improper political activity, stole kids' museum passes to sell online, smoked marijuana with students, stole money meant for cheerleader uniforms, among other things. 12 teachers and a nurse made $101,000 worth of tax-free purchases at a big box retailer using the school system's tax-exempt status. One teacher spent $5,100, and including $1,100 for a MacBook, $300 for an iPhone, $800 for a TV, and seasons of Breaking Bad.
Well, this is the worst of the worst.
Which he justified as being able to show, which he justified by showing to his students in class.
He showed them an episode of Breaking Bad?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. He admitted that he had bought these and other items for personal use. In other cases, he claimed that the purchased items might have had classroom uses as well. According to the report, for example, he thought there might be beneficial parts of Breaking Bad TV series that he could show to his class.
Things to do in trailers?
Yeah, he also said that other DVDs like Star Wars could be used for student self-improvement. You know, getting the Force, I guess.
Well, getting ready for the Lucas Museum.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Getting them prepared.
Yeah. So we got, let's see, another teacher bought $880 computer, $750 laptop.
To use in the classroom, though, right?
$80 electric razor. He defended the purchase. He defended the purchase of the razor.
Good. Well, you have to look good, right?
Shaving made him look presentable in class.
See? There
so
you go.
we should pay for your toiletries as well, in addition to your guaranteed 7-figure pension over there at CPS. And this is the school system, by the way, that wants $500 million more of your money because it's bankrupt and junk rated. Junk in, junk out, and the junk is getting quite expensive, according to the CPS Inspector General.
It's news, opinion, insight. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
The most recent U.S. Supreme Court decision on the Affordable Care Act made one thing certain. We will all have to deal with this ever-changing law until at least 2017. If you're tired of calling a bureaucrat at an 800 number to help you navigate Obamacare, then you need a local expert on your side. That's right, your own health insurance mentor. C. Stephen Tucker from healthinsurancementors.com is someone I know and trust. He's a 20-year licensed broker who's been educating AM 560 listeners on the Affordable Care Act for the last 5 years.
Thanks, Dan. If you have a pre-existing condition, a
canceled plan or your premium increased, now's the time to get covered. 2016 open enrollment begins on November 1st and ends on January 31st. During this 90-day window, you cannot be denied coverage. Depending on your income, you may find a more affordable plan. The new healthcare law is very complicated and you do need guidance. It costs you nothing to use a broker, so why not tap into my expertise?
Thanks, Steve. How can our listeners get in touch with you?
They can visit healthinsurancementors.com or call me directly at 630-674-1551. That's 630-674-1551.
Guess what?
I don't like guessing. What? Tell me.
I know how someone can win a trip for two to Los Cabos, Mexico. Right now, download the AM560 mobile app. AM560 The Answer mobile app. And you can register for your chance to win an all-expense paid trip for two to Secrets Los Cabos. It's valued at over $4,000. This is a great, great prize. Do it today. We'll be heading to Los Cabos, Mexico, staying at the beautiful Secrets Resort and Golf Resort and Spa on April 2nd through April 9th. People that have been on the trip before know what fun we have when we travel. This resort is top line, 5-star resort. All the bells and whistles. Every junior suite has an ocean view. There's a golf course on property, so you don't have to rent a car. Just walk outside of the resort. And there's 2 9-hole golf courses. 3 miles of pristine beaches. This place is excellent. 8 restaurants, 4 cigar bars and lounges. 24-hour room service. This is the place to be, especially in April 2nd through April 9th. And right now, you can enter for a chance to win a trip for two to Cabo by downloading our AM560 The Answer mobile app. This trip sells out every year, so go to 560theanswer.com, keyword escape, and buy your trip today.
AM 560, The Answer.
And coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer,
Dr. Jim Riggs, Superintendent of Catholic Schools for the Archdiocese of Chicago, joins us to talk school closings at 7:37.
And later, Donald Trump flip-flops. You'll hear it here. But first, into the newsroom we go. And let's say good morning to Mike Scott.
Amy and Dan, good morning. 33 in clouds. Iran this morning says Saudi forces fired missiles into the Iranian embassy in Yemen's capital today. Iran's foreign minister strongly condemned the attack in Sana'a. Paris officials say a man armed with a knife was shot to death by officers at a police station in the northern part of that city. The man had wires extending from clothing, and an explosive squad is on site. 1 year ago today, 11 were killed inside the Charlie Hebdo satirical magazine, and a police officer was killed outside. Saturday's Powerball jackpot will be the biggest in U.S. lottery history, now totaling over $675 million. South Korea says it will resume cross-border propaganda broadcast that Pyongyang considers an act of war. North Korea claimed yesterday it carried out a successful hydrogen bomb test, and world powers are looking ways to restrict the North. Emergency crews are working to free a group of trapped miners in an elevator shaft over 800 feet below ground at a salt mine in New York. Tompkins County officials say the miners are not injured. Emergency crews have made radio contact and passed along fresh food and water. 4 have already been brought to the surface. President Obama will take part in a town hall meeting tonight discussing his new executive orders aimed at reducing gun violence. Presidential spokesman Josh Earnest.
I'm confident that there will be an opportunity for the president to discuss the executive actions that he announced, but I'm also confident that it will spark a broader conversation about additional steps that states and localities can undertake to make their communities safer.
It won't be that many more years before you're going to see driverless cars at your car dealership. This morning, tech expert Paul Hochman says early examples of the technology are already showing up today at the Consumer Electronics Show in Vegas.
Kia is just launching something called DriveWise, which is their autonomous driving technologies. They're spending $2 billion by 2018 to have semi-autonomous cars on the road, and by 2030 they plan to have fully autonomous cars on the road.
And there will be plenty of electronic things to get that car into your garage and help you monitor your home from your car as well. Examples are on display at the show as well. Recovery crews this morning are walking the shores of a southern Wisconsin lake. They're still searching for a 4th missing man from Illinois. 22 Chicago police officers are being disciplined after audio was missing from their dash cam devices on their squad cars. The action comes after the shooting deaths of Laquan McDonald and Ronald Johnson. In both cases, sound was missing from video footage. Chicago sports, Blackhawks beat Pittsburgh 3-1. College hoops, Southern Illinois now 14-2. They beat Bradley 65-44. Northern Illinois, their best start in a while, they're 12-2. They beat Ohio 80-69 in the MAC. The news, a service of Lead Safe America. Does your child struggle to concentrate and pay attention? What looks like ADD or autism may actually be caused by lead poisoning. It's a neurotoxin. It might cause permanent brain damage. Protect your family. Go to leadsafeamerica.org. 7:34, time to check the climate of your business with aircomfort.com. 80 years of quality mechanical solutions for your business. And a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
I believe in the Second Amendment. It's there written on the paper.
It's over there on that piece of paper.
The Joe Walsh Show.
The guy doesn't give a damn about the Second Amendment. He can't even say the word Constitution. He can't even say it's right there in the Bill of Rights. It's right there in the United States Constitution. This son of a gun can't even say that.
The Joe Walsh Show. Weeknights starting at 5. Right after Sean Hannity at 2 on AM 560. The Answer.
Remodel your kitchen or bath with Galaxy and get free installation, free design, and free financing. Call Galaxy at 773-783-8300 or schedule online at galaxyhome.com.
Cornerstone National Bank believes trust, service, and relationship is the foundation of a business banking partnership. Cornerstone National Bank and Trust Company, where you belong. Visit cornerstonenb.com. Member FDIC.
847-865-9252. This number can bring thousands of extra dollars right to your pocket. The Art House Gallery is back in Chicago. Do you have any gold, platinum, silver, jewelry, or diamonds, antiques, paintings, porcelain, Fabergé, high-end pocket or wristlet watches, Rolex, Patek Philippe, IWC, Cartier, Tiffany, or Breitling? If you do, call the Art House Gallery now at 847-865-9252 and get your cash today. Meet in their office in Highland Park or the privacy of your own house or bank. Call now, 847-865-9252.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Papa Nicholas Coffee. Papa Nicholas. Best beans, best roast, best coffee.
Listen to AM 560 on your mobile device. Now available on iHeartRadio. Online at iHeartRadio.com.
7:36 in our ChicagoRadioDeals.com traffic center. The latest with Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. On the inbound Kennedy, traffic is slow from Nagel to the Burn Circle. It's 38 minutes, O'Hare to downtown, outbound 25. Eden's just 20 minutes, Lake Cook to Montrose, outbound 26. The Eisenhower runs 38 minutes, Thorndale to downtown, outbound 32. Stevenson, 47 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive. It's fine outbound. Ryan, 22 minutes, 95th to downtown, southbound Lakeshore Drive. Now has slow traffic between Bryn Mawr and Fullerton. Northbound Tri-State stop and go in pockets between the Stevenson and 31st. Then from the Reagan Tollway to 290, eastbound Adams Tollway, slow Roselle to Meacham. Traffic is a service of AARP and the Ad Council. If you're dealing with the daily struggles of caring for a loved one, visit aarp.org/caregiving to find a community with experts and other caregivers who can provide advice and support. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the aircomfort.com Weather Center. 80 years of quality mechanical solutions for your business. Cloudy and a shower in spots today. High 36, rain and drizzle overnight, low 34. Currently, we have 33 in clouds at O'Hare. Next news at 8. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by the Alpha Wealth Group, bringing the trilogy of estate, tax, and investment planning together. Visit alphawealthgroup.com for a free report.
Your money. Find out how to keep more of it and live debt-free. Tonight on The Dave Ramsey Show, starting at 7 on AM 560. The Answer.
Dan and Amy, Cardinal George used to say that when you close a Catholic school, you close a child's world. Well, it looks like there's going to be a lot of children whose worlds is closing. This because the Archdiocese of Chicago announced that they're going to be closing a number of schools, including three schools: St. Agatha Catholic Academy. This is in Chicago. St. Peter in Antioch. Seton Academy in South Holland. And I know I got an email. We were talking about this off air.
Yeah, during the break about St. Alphonsus and
yeah,
Prospect Heights.
yeah.
I know a lot of people that attended that school that later went on to Hersey High School, but they raised close to $300,000.
I think more than that even.
Yeah, to save their school.
That was the and so this happened. Remember Driscoll when Driscoll closed?
Oh, yeah.
So it was the same thing, and they kept saying, "Well, we need to raise so much money to keep it open," and then they raised the money and they closed it anyway. So,
They're hoping that doesn't happen in Prospect Heights.
Right, clearly. So let's get a little bit more information on this and some perspective on K through 12 education in the Chicago metro area more generally. And to do that, we're joined by Dr. Jim Rigg, who's the superintendent of Catholic schools for the Archdiocese of Chicago. Dr. Rigg, thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate it.
Good morning. Glad to be here.
So explain the thought process behind the, I'm sure, difficult decision to close some of these schools, as well as, if you would, address any other schools that may be still in a precarious position.
So just to clarify, on Tuesday, the Archdiocese announced that 3 Catholic schools will close at the end of the current school year. And as you mentioned, those 3 schools are St. Agatha's in the Lawndale neighborhood of Chicago, St. Peter's Catholic Elementary School in Antioch, suburban Antioch, and Seton Academy in South Holland. And all 3 of those closures are emerging out of a prolonged decline in enrollment and increase in financial challenges facing each of those schools. Now, these 3 schools have sort of been on our radar for a while. We've been working intensively with the local leadership to try to build enrollment, to try to improve the finances. But the sad reality is that it takes money, it takes revenue, it takes enrollment to fund any quality education, whether that's public or private. And in these schools, they just simply didn't have the money to continue operating.
So when this happens, what do you do? What are alternatives do you offer the students?
Well, the good news is that each of these schools are located in areas where there are strong, viable Catholic alternatives for the students, and we're working vigorously with the families. I was at Seton on Tuesday night. We've been on the ground at the other schools as well to try to encourage and support the families to find other educational options for their children. I'm a dad myself. I'm saddened by the closure of these schools. We don't like to close schools at the Archdiocese, and we really look at a closure as the sort of the last option. But at the same time, these schools cannot continue, and we're working as best we can to support the families as well as the staff members and other folks who have been affected by them.
You were brought in by Archbishop Cupich from Ohio, right?
That's correct.
And so you've been here a short time, relatively speaking. I wonder what you think of K through 12 education in Chicago more globally. Just how dire is the situation beyond what the Archdiocese is doing?
Well, I came to Chicago to be a part of Catholic education, so I've spent my entire career working with Catholic schools. I was the superintendent of Catholic schools in Cincinnati, was a teacher, principal, assistant superintendent previously. Chicago really is the place for Catholic education. It's the largest private school system in the country. The Archdiocese possesses more Blue Ribbon awards than any other school system, public or private, in the country. Chicago has a wonderful reputation for Catholic education. At the same time, the demographics of the greater Chicago area are dynamic. There are continual population shifts. And in each of the 3 school communities that are affected, they have been subjected to demographic shifts that we cannot control. And so as we look to the future, and we look to the future with hope and confidence and commitment, we're going to continue to adapt to demographic shifts as they occur. I know that other public and private school systems have had similar challenges in adjusting to demographic shifts. I know that, for instance, in the 13-14 school year, the Chicago public school system closed 50 schools at 50 of their own schools. So we're all facing the same sorts of population trends.
Well, but what, if I could just interrupt there for a moment, the difference, that may be true, but the difference is the Chicago public school system is also facing the challenge of not educating children to do things like simple math and read. And I guess the question is, do you see a larger role potentially for the Archdiocese in providing alternatives to Chicago Public Schools, not that are closing, but maybe that should be closed, that are failing to educate children?
Well, we are absolutely committed to providing a strong education to the families that come to us. And as we look at the landscape of education across Chicagoland, we want to make sure that we have vibrant, high-quality schools serving populations everywhere. So our ultimate goal is to assure a Catholic education that is available and accessible to any family that wishes to come, regardless of their neighborhood, regardless of their economic background, regardless of their demographic background. We want to be there. I don't celebrate when public schools suffer, when public schools don't deliver on their promise of a good education, but we want to make sure that families know that we're there for them as a great alternative.
Dr. Jim Riggs, Superintendent of Catholic Schools for the Archdiocese of Chicago. As we mentioned on the outset of this interview, I have friends that attended St. Alphonsus. A lot of them donated tens of thousands of dollars to save their school on their St. Alphonsus GoFundMe page. Are they safe, though, because they feel that the Archdiocese indecision is still wearing on their soul? They're not sure whether or not they're in the clear.
So a few days ago, I know the parish of Alphonsus Liguori announced that they had met their fundraising pledge goal, which is about $300,000. We're still working with the local leadership to, first of all, verify the pledges. And there was an additional target of registration for next year of students who needed to register at the school. And if indeed that goal is achieved, we have to look a little further into the future and begin actually collecting the money that's been pledged and asking people, parents within the community to go through the registration process, pay the registration fee. So we're still studying St. Alphonsus Liguori. Nobody, including myself, wants to close that school. But like the three other schools that are closing, St. Alphonsus Liguori, unfortunately, has been subject to a prolonged period of enrollment decline. I know there's great hope and great energy, and I'm encouraged by that within the St. Alphonsus Liguori community.
Have you had the opportunity to have discussions in your time here so far with the mayor, the governor, or their staff on policy matters with respect to education reform?
I started in October. I haven't yet had the opportunity to speak with the governor or the mayor directly, though I have met with members of their staff. The Catholic schools in Chicago have a significant footprint on education. And so I think it's important that we work in tandem. We ultimately share a common goal with public schools, with charter schools, with other private schools. We all want to provide a good education for kids.
Do you think that the staff that you've spoken with, do you think that they would like to see the footprint that you described that Catholic schools have in Chicago grow?
Yeah, I don't want to presume to speak for them. I know that we at the Archdiocese certainly want to see the footprint of Catholic education grow. We believe strongly in our mission. We've got a great history. Our data shows that we're delivering an excellent education. We're delivering an education that's filled with values and faith and morals. We know that we're doing an excellent job, so we're absolutely committed to growth and vibrancy in Catholic education.
Would something like corporate tax credit legislation that would allow people to donate to create opportunity scholarships for families who don't have the resources to pay tuition, and for an archdiocese that doesn't have the resources to put everyone on scholarship, would that be something that would be very helpful to expanding that footprint?
So there is such an effort being debated as we speak, and we're unilaterally in favor of it. We are committed to serving all families of all economic backgrounds, and yet with charging tuition, we know that there are some families that simply can't afford to come and join our schools. And so something like a tax credit bill would certainly help those families. I came from Ohio that had an abundance of school choice programs, voucher programs, scholarships for students with defined special needs, programs for student services and technology and textbooks. And it certainly supported our Catholic schools, but interestingly, we found that it supported all schools. A rising tide lifts all boats. And so through supporting private education and quality school choice, we found that we were actually improving the public schools as well. And people were moving to the state of Ohio because of the presence of quality school choice. Currently, I've been watching the demographic trends. I don't know if you know that both Cook and Lake County are losing families to Indiana, to Wisconsin, because of the presence of school choice programs in those states.
No, there's no question about it. I hope you share your experiences in Ohio and those scholarship programs like in Cleveland with those policymakers, particularly on the fifth floor, over there at City Hall because been a little bit slow on the uptake to look around the country and see successful models that perhaps should be inculcated in the CPS system.
Well, we are certainly advocating for quality school choice. We feel that it's a matter of justice for our families.
All right. And just so you know, my phone's exploding over here. People are texting me, letting you know that they're good for the money that they raise on their GoFundMe page.
That's good to know.
Okay?
That's good to
the
know.
Cash will be there.
Yeah. Oh, sorry.
They want you to save their school.
Give them a number, Dr. Jim. just put down. They got it covered.
Well, that's good to know, and I've been really encouraged and excited by the support that's evident in that school community. We do need to do our due diligence and sit down and look at all the efforts that have taken place so far.
All right, he is Dr. Jim Rigg. He's the new superintendent of Catholic schools for the Archdiocese of Chicago. Dr. Rigg, thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate it.
It's been my pleasure. Thank you.
And he joined us on our Save St. Alphonsus Turnkey.pro answer line.
There's only one radio show in Chicago talking about today's biggest stories and telling you what they really mean. That show is this one, Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560, The Answer.
Today, considerable cloudiness. We do have showers in places, a high of 36 degrees. Then tomorrow morning, the fog moves in. We'll have low clouds, fog, and a light rain, but warm, a high of 42. Let's see if there's anything heating up on the roadways. Here's Jim Telemonte.
Travel times are heating up, Amy and Dan. Thanks. Good morning. The Kennedy inbound has delays starting at Lawrence. It's now 45 minutes. O'Hare to downtown. Express lanes will save you about 6 minutes. Outbound 28 minutes downtown to O'Hare. Edens, 20 minutes. Lake Cook to Montrose. Outbound 26. The Eisenhower. Now 54 minutes. Thorndale to downtown. 41 from Manheim. Outbound 35 to Thorndale. Stevenson, 54 minutes. 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Fine outbound. Ryan, 22 minutes, 95th to downtown. Southbound Lakeshore Drive, bottled up from Lawrence to Fullerton. Northbound Tri-State slow from the Stevenson to 31st and from the Reagan Tollway to 290. Eastbound Adams Tollway has a heavy delay now from Barrington Road to 53. Veterans Memorial, just mild delays from Maple to the Reagan Tollway and Butterfield to Roosevelt. I'm Jim Talamonte, ChicagoRadioDeals.com Traffic Center.
Oh, now that the holidays are over, it's time to start thinking a little bit about yourself. And one way would be to treat yourself to a MyPillow. Imagine that, a great night's sleep every night. If you've thought about it and procrastinated, don't put it off any longer. MyPillow is a premium pillow with 4 different loft levels that's customized to your individual preference. And for my listeners who use the promo code Amy, guess what? You'll get 2 MyPillows for the price of 1. It's MyPillow's best offer ever, and it is so important to get a great night's sleep. I can't live without my pillow, I'll tell you that much. I should have brought it with me on vacation because when I got home, I finally slept soundly. It helps with snoring, headaches, neck pain. It's washable, so it keeps its shape and gives you support where you need it most. That's why it's the official pillow of the National Sleep Foundation. For this 2 for the price of 1 offer, visit MyPillow. That's MyPillow.com. MyPillow, I don't know why I'm talking Southern. Use the promo code Amy.
Hey, Dave.
Do it now. 800-489-0201 or online at MyPillow.com. Promo code Amy.
I'm Lex, CEO of Balance of Nature. At Balance of Nature, we believe in real communication. Whether you call into the office or hear a success story on the radio, you can be sure it's real, unsolicited, and unscripted conversation.
There were times I was finding myself almost falling asleep at the wheel, that I had to pull over. That's the first thing I noticed, that hasn't happened since I've been taking Balance of Nature. I'm in sales, so I do a lot of walking during the day that would tire me out. I'm not as fatigued. I feel good.
The top 3 New Year's resolutions are health-related. Improve your odds by getting started early with our best price of the year. Call now to find out how to get your free month's supply of Balance of Nature. Call 800-2468-751. That's 800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com. Use promo code Chicago.
My name is David Hochberg, and I'm Vice President of Lending at Pearl Mortgage. That's right, I'm now Vice President of Lending at Pearl Mortgage. If you're looking to purchase a new home or refinance your existing home, give me a call. I'm the same guy that's provided listeners with honest advice and outstanding customer service for the past 13 years. The only thing that's changed is where I work. When you needed help refinancing after the Big Corner Bank messed up your loan, even though you've heard thousands of my ads telling you not to waste your time at the Big Corner Bank, you called me and I helped you. If you would like to talk to me about a mortgage, please please give me a call at 312-751-1333. That's 312-751-1333. Email me at david@pearldavid.com. That's david@PERLDavid.com. Or visit my website, am560david.com. 312-751-1333. Pearl Mortgage is an equal housing lender, Illinois residential mortgage licensee, 4358, licensed by DBO under California RMLA and MLS 19186. PearlMortgage.com licensing.
AM 560, The Answer.
I was 35 years old when Bill Clinton, Arkansas Attorney General, raped me, Juanita Broderick tweeted yesterday. Hillary tried to silence me. I'm now 73. It never goes away.
Wow.
Should Juanita Broderick accuser should be believed and then the case pursued, right? Isn't that the
Right.
Hillary protocol? Isn't that
That's the Democratic protocol, and that's my personal protocol.
Yeah.
Yes.
So what do your cackle caucus friends say about that?
I thought she made it up.
Yeah.
Dan.
Oh, so we don't believe you. That's not the Hillary protocol. That's not what Hillary says you
it's
should
not.
do.
No.
Here's something else they might find interesting.
Yes.
No, this may be a bit of wishful thinking, but it's still an informed opinion. Joe DiGenova, who is a Republican U.S. attorney that was appointed by President Reagan, said Hillary's biggest problem right now is the open FBI investigation into the contents of her emails. They have reached a critical mass in their investigation of the secretary and all of her senior staff, DiGenova said Tuesday, and it's going to come to a head, I would suggest, in the next 60 days. He's suggesting she could face a criminal indictment in the next 60 days. So from Joe DiGenova's mouth to God's ears, please.
I'm sorry about that.
Before you see it on TV, share it on Facebook, or read about it in the paper, hear it here first. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer. And now, a moment of objectivism with your Ron Brook and the Ayn Rand Institute.
Polls show Americans don't care about economic inequality. If someone works for his money, our attitude is, good for you. To make us care, opponents of economic inequality resort to a gimmick. It works like this. 1, point to people who are suffering some hardship. 2, then point to people who are doing well. 3, imply the problem is not the hardship, but the gap between those who are doing well and those who aren't. 4, demand we fight the gap by bringing down the high flyers. We need to reject this gimmick. Gaps don't matter. We should feel bad for a blind child because he can't see, not because we can. If you want to understand and discover how to oppose the campaign against economic inequality, listen to my show. From the Ayn Rand Institute, I'm Ron Brook.
This has been a moment of objectivism from the Ayn Rand Institute. To learn more, listen to the Yaron Brooks Show, Saturdays at 4 on AM 560, and visit ariradio.com.
Why are Ayn Rand's ideas so compelling? Her worldview, her philosophy, expressed dramatically in her novels Atlas Shrugged and The Fountainhead, embodies the ideals stated by the Founding Fathers in the Declaration of Independence and sets forth the requirements necessary to achieve a flourishing life. She called her philosophy objectivism and said it was a philosophy for living on Earth. Today, decades after her death, objectivism continues to stir debate and inspire passion for the spirit of individualism and the enduring American dream.
It's easy to take your commercial HVAC system for granted. It's always there, keeping your building comfortably warm or cool. Until you have a system failure. With another unforgiving Chicago winter just around the corner, now's the time to have a comprehensive review of your mechanical HVAC system. And you don't want just anyone. You want Air Comfort, Chicagoland's leading mechanical professionals. For over 80 years, Air Comfort has delivered its customers the best trained and highly skilled team of award-winning technicians. That's why Air Comfort is recognized as Star Certified by the MSCA, a designation achieved by only 2% of contractors nationwide. With a service fleet of more than 80 fully equipped vehicles, chances are that an Air Comfort technician is nearby. Schedule your system check by calling now, 708-345-1900. That's 708-345-1900 or online at aircomfort.com. On AM 560 The Answer, we talk about the important issues that affect your world. Things like the economy, education, and foreign policy. There's always so much going on in the news that we don't always have the time to drill down and talk about the big ideas behind the big issues. That's where Upstream Ideas comes in. Upstream Ideas, online at upstream-ideas.com, in partnership with the Illinois Policy Institute, provides the kind of information that informs the policy discussions happening here on AM 560. At Upstream Ideas, you'll broaden the debate, move beyond partisan assumptions, and challenge accepted orthodoxies. In other words, Upstream Ideas goes against the current and thinks upstream. Go online now to upstream-ideas.com. That's upstream-ideas.com. You'll be armed with new information and fresh perspectives to spur you on to make the state of Illinois and the United States of America a bit more free, a bit more just, and a bit more civilized. Upstream-ideas.com.
You may think being totally blind is the greatest challenge I face, but actually, it's the fact that I'm often wide awake at 3 a.m. and struggling to stay awake in the middle of the day. This is called Non-24, and it affects up to 70% of people who are totally blind, like me. It makes just getting through the day a real struggle. Learn more about Non-24 by calling 855-856-2424 or visiting learnmorenon24.com.
Sponsored by Vanda Pharmaceuticals.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
We'll talk to Bill Gertz from the Washington Times about the German response to those attacks in Cologne.
And Donald Trump's a flip-flopper. You'll hear it here. But first, into the newsroom we go. Mike Scott.
Amy and Dan, the Bland family reacts to a trooper's indictment in Texas. Blackhawks sweep a home and home with the Pens. WIND Chicago news time is 8 o'clock.
Fox News Radio. I'm Dave Anthony. Do you eat too much salt? 90% of us do, yet new dietary guidelines just out aren't quite as strict on salt intake, but there is a new recommendation for Americans on sugar. Fox's Rachel Sutherland live in Washington.
Sugar is out and eggs are in, according to the first dietary recommendations from the federal government in 5 years. Americans are encouraged to limit sugar to 10% of their calories a day, basically one small candy bar. Eggs and other cholesterol-rich foods are now less frowned upon, but the government still wants people to limit their saturated fats and move toward a more Mediterranean diet. The recommendations are controversial. The Physicians Committee for Responsible Medicine, which promotes a vegan diet, has already filed a lawsuit against the feds. Dave?
Rachel, fresh terror fear in France. An armed attacker at a Paris police station.
This man ran into the police station in northern France, in northern Paris, shouting Allahu Akbar, God is great. He was wielding a knife and he had wires hanging from out of his clothing. The Reuters news agency have said that they think it was a fake suicide vest.
Fox's Benjamin Hall, he was shot dead. This happened as the French were commemorating the deadly terror attack at the Charlie Hebdo satirical paper 1 year ago today. The stock market roller coaster could head straight down at the opening bell. Futures are plunging again on more worry about China.
At this Chinese brokerage, the prices are all in the red. Shares plunged more than 7% in just a few minutes of trading, triggering a so-called circuit breaker that puts a freeze on investors who want to sell.
Fox's Alistair Wanklin in our Asia Bureau. And as people lose money all over the world, Americans are dreaming of striking it rich. The Powerball jackpot now a record high for any U.S. lottery.
Paying off my kids' college. That's very important to me. Get them take care of my mama.
He lost last night in Florida. So did everybody else. So the Powerball jackpot for Saturday's up to $675 million. Could go higher. All 17 miners trapped underground all night in New York have been rescued. They were stuck in a salt mine elevator near Syracuse, 900 feet down. Fox News Radio. Fair and balanced.
Cloudy and 33 degrees. It is 8:02 on AM 560. The Answer. Good morning. I'm Mike Scott. A grand jury in Waller County, Texas, indicts a Texas state trooper who arrested former suburban Chicago resident Sandra Bland, charging the officer with perjury for lying about how he took her from that car that day last July. AM 560's David Stewart has more on this developing story.
Sandra Bland was arrested after a traffic stop that became combative, an incident caught on police video.
I'm going to drag you out of here. So you're threatening to drag me out of my own car? Get out of the car! And then I will light you up. Get out!
She was found dead in her cell days later in what was ruled a suicide. Now a grand jury has charged the arresting officer, Brian Encinia, with misdemeanor perjury for lying about how he took Bland from her car. If convicted, he could serve a year in jail and pay a $4,000 fine.
Put your phone down right now.
David Stewart, Chicago.
Lake County prosecutors are attempting to prevent a new trial for a daycare worker convicted of the murder of a child in 2009. Officials responded last week to Melissa Kolosinski's request for a new trial, saying her lawyers are trying to retread evidence heard at her first trial. The Tribune says the new X-rays are simply brightened versions of ones used in the trial that resulted in the 29-year-old Kolosinski's 31-year prison sentence. Kolosinski's attorneys filed a motion last summer claiming that new evidence shows 16-month-old Benjamin Kingen died from pre-existing head injuries. Chicago sports, NHL, was the Blackhawks over the Penguins, sweeping a home-and-home with a 3-1 victory. The news a service of Teach and the Ad Council. So many of you thought about becoming teachers when you were little. It's time to put it back on your list. Innovative things are happening in teaching. Find out how you can make more at teach.org. Make more. Teach. 8:03, time for the AM 560 Business Beat. It is a service of Turnkey.pro. Get the latest now from the Fox Business Network.
From the Fox Business Network, global markets in the red and futures on Wall Street plummeting after a sell-off in China triggers the second day-long trading halt of the week there. Dow futures down about 350 points. It dropped more than 250 yesterday. The largest U.S. drugstore chain, Walgreens Boots Alliance's first quarter profit forecast topping Wall Street expectations with earnings of $1.11 billion. That's about $1.03 per share. A major survey finds progress has stalled on reducing the number of uninsured Americans. Under the president's health care law, the Gallup Healthways Wellbeing Index finds a share of U.S. adults without health insurance was about 11.9% in the last 3 months of 2015. That's essentially unchanged from the start of the year. With the Fox Business Report, I'm Lillian Wu.
It's 8:05 in Chicago, and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Hey, Chicagoland, Dave Ramsey here. For the last 20-plus years, we've helped millions of people get their financial lives in order. And now, for the first time ever, we're bringing our Smart Money Tour to you. Financial expert Chris Hogan and I will be at Willow Creek Church on January 12th. If you're tired of living paycheck to paycheck or wondering what you're going to do when retirement comes around, don't miss this event. Get your seats today at DaveRamsey.com.
Sponsored in part by ImageOneChicago.com.
I'm Nick Soboleski, a Select Quote agent with a true story that could save you hundreds of dollars a year. A woman named Linda just called. Her husband, Ray, has a $300,000 group life insurance policy, but is changing jobs and can't take it with him. Well, I impartially shopped the highly rated term life insurance companies we represent and found Ray, who is 41 and takes medication to control his cholesterol, a 10-year, $500,000 policy for under $26 a month. That's almost twice the coverage for less than half of what he had paid. If SelectQuote hasn't shopped for your life insurance, you're probably paying too much.
For your free quote, call 1-800-467-5125. That's 1-800-467-5125. 1-800-467-5125. Or go to SelectQuote.com. We shop, you save. Get full details on the example policy at SelectQuote.com/commercials. Your price can vary depending on your health, issuing company, and other factors not available in all states.
It's 8:06. Let's get an update on the roads in our ChicagoRadioDeals.com traffic center. Here is Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. The Edens has outbound delays from Elston to Peterson, where there's a medical emergency on the exit ramp. And past there, it's slow from before Dempster to Lake Avenue. It's about 34 minutes from Montrose to Lake Cook. Inbound just 20. Kennedy, now 48 minutes. O'Hare to downtown, 34 from Montrose, 26 in the Express. Outbound 28 minutes downtown to the airport. The Eisenhower, 54 minutes. Thorndale to downtown, 41 from Manheim. Outbound 35 to Thorndale. Stevenson, 54 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Outbound fine. The Ryan, 32 minutes, 95 to downtown. Southbound Lakeshore Drive, tied up from Lawrence to Fullerton. Northbound Tri-State stop and go from Plainfield Road to 47th, from the Reagan Tollway to 290, then slow Lake Cook to Deerfield Road with a crash on the left shoulder. Adams Tollway stop and go Barrington to 53. Veterans Memorial, northbound heavy 75th, the Reagan Tollway, southbound North Avenue to St. Charles. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte, AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast. From the AirComfort.com Weather Center, 80 years of quality mechanical solutions for your business. Here's meteorologist Kevin Snyder.
cloudy today with a shower in spots, high 37. Areas of fog with occasional rain and drizzle tonight, low 34. Low clouds and fog with a little rain during the day tomorrow with a high 42, and a little rain at night, low 36. Rain mixing with snow on Saturday, high 42. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560, The Answer.
33 at O'Hare. Next news at 8:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Financial Planning with Jack Tabota, your 401k specialist, whose goal is to protect, preserve, and grow your wealth. Saturday mornings at 7.
Good morning. Welcome to your Thursday morning briefing. Here's what you need to know to start your day.
We are confronting the president with the hard, honest truth. Obamacare doesn't work.
I will defend the Affordable Care Act, which the Republicans are trying to repeal, but they never tell you what they would put in its place.
Do you still think he's ineligible to be president because he was born in Canada?
No, from what I understand, everything is fine. Well, I would say that he can't be president. If you're not born in this country, you can't be president.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. So the attacks that occurred in Cologne on New Year's, around New Year's, I think New Year's Eve, Amy, Cologne, Germany, it kind of got buried during the holidays, but more information is coming out. We actually had the mayor respond to what occurred with some suggestions. And what occurred, according to eyewitnesses, about 1,000 men of North African or Middle East descent, heritage, according to eyewitnesses, in and around the train station, shooting at a landmark cathedral dome and sexually assaulting women.
Yeah, and some in public. I mean, some they dragged behind, in certain areas, but some they just molested in front of other women.
And the mayor's response was to tell women they should keep like doing jumping jacks in gym class, arm's length apart.
Yeah, keep an arm's length apart, stay together in groups, and don't be in a party mood. That's what she said. She's victim blaming here. She's not saying let's hold the men accountable. Oh no, she's blaming the women for this. Shame on her.
Is this
she better lose her next election.
Is this a little bit of foreshadowing with the president's Syrian refugee program? We asked Bill Gertz, national security columnist at the Washington Times. Bill, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Hi, good morning. Good to be on the show.
So what was your assessment of those attacks in Cologne and the response to this point?
Well, it's the issue of Islamism spreading from North Africa and the Middle East into Europe. It's clear that's part of it. They're starting to set up these no-go zones where they try to impose strict Sharia law in parts of Europe, and I think that the influx of refugees, which aren't being assimilated, is going to exacerbate that problem.
Yeah, it turns out that welcoming some of those refugees to Germany with teddy bears and water bottles wasn't quite enough to dull the blade. And this was from a bouncer who was in the area who actually said he condemned the anti-Muslim propaganda during the refugee crisis, but he couldn't believe that what he witnessed, and he described what I've described.
Yeah, like I say, it's a huge challenge, and Europe hasn't come to grips with this. It's kind of some people have called it civilization jihad. It's kind of pre-violent terrorism where they're trying to impose Islamist values. Again, not Islamic religion per se, but the political form of Islam, which I call Islamism.
And the mayor here, who is victim blaming, she has pro-immigrant views. And I mean, do you see what happens in Germany? Do you imagine that could ever happen here in America?
Well, yeah, there are a lot of areas that are heavily dominated by Muslim groups and outside the country in that part of the world, but I haven't seen any evidence yet. We've had a number of attacks, but they were what they call kind of lone wolf terrorist attacks.
And just further,
San Bernardino.
Yeah, like Sharia law. Obviously, some Muslim men do not think women should be driving cars, correct? And that we should not be going to school.
Yeah, I mean, they actually, theologically, they don't think women have spirits. That is the extremist view of Islam.
Switching to another theater, Afghanistan. We lost a member of armed forces, was killed, 2 injured in a firefight earlier this week in Helmand Province. What's the state of play in Afghanistan?
Well, this attack in Marja was really the Wild West. The Special Forces group that was working with the Afghan Special Forces were conducting an operation. My guess is it was probably targeting of a high-value Taliban target, and one of the helicopters crashed, and they had to be rescued. They sent in what they call a quick reaction force. At the Pentagon the other day, they had a briefing on Afghanistan, and the question came up, well, if you're winning in Afghanistan, how come the Taliban currently holds more territory in Afghanistan than it did, at the time we went in there back in 2001? So it's clearly a very difficult situation in terms of trying to get the Afghan military and security forces up to speed.
I think we've redefined what winning looks like, what success looks like. Yemen as a success story. I think these words don't mean what they used to mean, at least with this administration.
Well, yeah, I had in my Washington Times column today that the administration is going to roll out a new counter-terrorism, counter-ideology program probably tomorrow, again, recognizing that they haven't been able to. The real solution here is to go after the extremist ideology, attack that ideology, and basically discredit it, and then that's the starting point of actually winning. Kinetically, you're never going to kill all these terrorists because they regenerate, and it's the ideology behind their actions that's the real problem.
What are your sources telling you, moving over to North Korea, about the hydrogen bomb that they tested? Did that actually happen, and were they successful?
What I'm told from U.S. intelligence sources was that it was a partial thermonuclear device. In other words, a thermonuclear bomb or a hydrogen bomb is a two-stage process. It's basically a small nuclear blast that triggers a larger nuclear blast. It's a complicated physics problem, but essentially the belief is that this was like the test of the first stage of that. Politically, it was designed to bolster the fortunes of North Korean dictator Kim Jong-un, who turns 33 tomorrow and basically is very inexperienced. So he's kind of feeling the heat from the factions of his Communist Party and military. Second target was China. China has been they have tense relations. China's the main patron for North Korea, and Kim Jong-un wanted to tell the Chinese, hey, stop pressuring us to end our nuclear program.
Marco Rubio took out after President Obama on this topic, suggesting he didn't really have a strategy to deal with North Korea any more than he does to deal with ISIS. And I wonder what your kind of threat assessment is with respect to our national security interests that's presented from UN and North Korea.
Oh, yeah, I agree. I think that the threat, I just had a piece 2 days ago, right before this nuclear test, that in December, just last month, on December 21st, the North Koreans tested a new submarine-launched ballistic missile, and they had a successful ejection test. Now, this is going to be an additional nuclear delivery vehicle. They already have launch pad-based long-range missiles. They have a small number of road-mobile ICBMs that is capable of reaching thousands of miles, and now they're developing a submarine. And, yeah, it's been a policy of neglect from the administration. They call it strategic patience. I call it strategic neglect.
He is Bill Gertz, national security columnist for the Washington Times. Bill, thanks as always for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
You're listening to Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Coming up next, the tale of two Trumps. Yes, even he is a flip-flopper, but he does it with style. You'll hear it here. But first, your forecast, considerable cloudiness today. We do have showers in places on and off throughout the day. It's going to be a gray day, so no sun. A high of 36 degrees. Then tonight and early into tomorrow, the fog will roll in here, and we'll have light rain tomorrow, warmer, a high of 42. Let's see if there's any bad news on the roadways, any gray days there. Here's Jim Delamonte.
Amy and Dan, kind of gloomy on the outbound Edens. There was a medical emergency on the exit ramp to Peterson Avenue, so it's jammed from Elston to Peterson, also heavy from Dempster to Lake Avenue. 32 minutes from Montrose to Lake Cook. Inbound, clear sailing, 19 minutes. Kennedy, 48 minutes, O'Hare to downtown. Outbound, 28. The Eisenhower, 54 minutes from Thorndale to the Loop. Outbound 35. Stevenson, 48 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive. It's clear outbound. Ryan is 32 minutes from 95th to downtown. Lakeshore Drive, southbound, stop and go Irving Park to Fullerton. It's improving already. Northbound Tri-State, heavy Plainfield Road to 47th, the Reagan Tollway to 290. Adams Tollway, stop and go Barrington Road to 53. Veterans Memorial, just a little slow, 63rd to the Reagan Tollway. I'm Jim Talamonte, ChicagoRadioDeals.com, Traffic Center.
I wish this bag under my eye would just go away. Hey, if that sounds like you every day, guess what? You're not alone. Bags and puffiness under the eyes are a problem for millions of American men. That's right, you men out there and women. That is until now. Introducing the new Genucell Serum with plant stem cell technology from Chamonix. They take the plant stem cells from a Swiss apple, and this stuff works. I've been using it for 6 months now. My sister uses it. We love it. And with its instant effects, you'll see results in the first 12 hours or your money back. They guarantee it. So call now and save big on Genucell's risk-free introductory offer. Call 800-525-8323. That's 800-525-8323. Call now and you'll get the amazing Esotique face cream as a special gift simply by placing your order. That number again, 800-525-8323. 800-525-8323. 8323.
The most recent U.S. Supreme Court decision on the Affordable Care Act made one thing certain. We will all have to deal with this ever-changing law until at least 2017. If you're tired of calling a bureaucrat at an 800 number to help you navigate Obamacare, then you need a local expert on your side. That's right, your own health insurance mentor. C. Stephen Tucker from healthinsurancementors.com is someone I know and trust. He's a 20-year licensed broker who's been educating AM 560 listeners on the Affordable Care Act for the last 5 years.
Thanks, Dan. If you have a pre-existing condition, a canceled plan, or your premium increased, now's the time to get covered. 2016 open enrollment begins on November 1st and ends on January 31st. During this 90-day window, you cannot be denied coverage. Depending on your income, you may find a more affordable plan. The new healthcare law is very complicated and you do need guidance. It costs you nothing to use a broker, so why not tap into my expertise?
Thanks, Steve. How can our listeners get in touch with you?
They can visit healthinsurancementors.com or call me directly at 630-674-1551. That's 630-674-1551.
Here's Dr. Howard, formulator of Balance of Nature, an all-natural, 100% organic fruit and vegetable supplement.
Did you know 40% of all cancer could be prevented? That's a fact. Along with maintaining appropriate body weight and regular exercise, the American Institute for Cancer Research and the USDA confirm that eating 9 to 11 servings of fruits and vegetables every day is the key. Now ask yourself, am I at risk? How many servings of fruits and vegetables did I eat today? Balance of Nature has solved this problem and provides an easy and affordable way to consume over 10 servings of 31 different whole fruits and vegetables every day.
Get real today with Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies. Call toll-free 800-2468-751. That's 800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com and be sure to enter promo code CHICAGO.
AM 560, The Answer.
This song is great.
Bitty bitty bop. Cantaloupe, right?
Wait, beep, beep. Bang, right?
Yesterday after
the lyrics are so sophisticated.
I should stop doing that. Yesterday after I sang Tiny Dancer, people were very mean to me on social media and said
Dan,
to stop
it was
singing.
Awful. I mean, I could help you become a better singer, but first of all, you have to start on beat. You're on the upbeat instead of on the downbeat. That's your first problem. And then you're in the wrong key.
Thanks a lot, Simon
And
Cowell.
you were rushing. So just get it together. Governor Rauner was laughing, by the way. One of his coworkers or one of his people texted me yesterday and said, you really need to work on his music prowess.
You guys are mean. You're mean. Also, someone taking a fire. Ted Cruz, he's doing well when you have a senior Newsweek writer compare him to a Nazi.
Oh.
So that's the leading indicator that you're making an impact. Alexander Nazarin tweeted a picture of Nazis goose-stepping, saying Ted Cruz has a good ground game in Iowa. So Ted Cruz and his supporters are Nazis. Also, Ted Cruz is not qualified to be president because he was not born in this country. So
That's according to Donald Trump.
Well, it's also something that Josh Earnest, the Dickensian-named White House flack, suggested yesterday.
It would be quite ironic if, after 7 or 8 years of drama around the president's birth certificate, if Republican primary voters were to choose Senator Cruz as their nominee, somebody who actually wasn't born in the United States and only 18 months ago renounced his Canadian citizenship.
Yeah. Well, George Romney, Mitt Romney's father, wasn't born in the United States.
No, he was born in Mexico when he was
I guess
on a Mormon mission.
I guess the difference was the transparency of Cruz and also the precedent. Pretty straightforward here.
Well,
wait, hold
what?
on one second. Hold on one second.
What?
John and Carol Stream, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hey, Dan and Amy, how you doing this morning?
Good. How are you?
Good. I just wanted to comment that what you did yesterday, I don't think that was called singing.
How would you describe it?
Art? What would you describe it as?
It was unique. It was special. But we'll let the listeners decide.
Thank you for the call, John. I appreciate
it.
That was a compliment. He was saying it wasn't singing; it was something that was grander than singing. That's how I took what John had
Your
to say.
freedom of expression is polluting the air that I breathe. Thank you. I'm going to tweet that out.
So mean. So all right. So back to Ted Cruz and this whole birther flap. So Ernest made his little funny yesterday, addressing the press, and then Donald Trump has suggested, hey, look, I think he should go to court to get a declaratory judgment, but we're friends.
Yeah, we are friends, but he wants him to go to court for a declaration of citizenship.
Do you believe Senator Ted Cruz is a natural-born citizen?
I don't know, to be honest, and I like him a lot. And I don't like the issue. I don't like even bringing it up. And, it wasn't me that brought it up. It was the Washington Post doing an interview.
They asked you a question.
One of the questions they asked me was this question. And, they went with it, and I wasn't very aggressive with the answer, except one thing. You can't have somebody running if the Democrats are going to, at some point, and one of them threatened to bring a suit a long time ago. But how can you have a nominee running, against a Democrat, whoever it may be, probably Hillary Clinton, because she'll probably escape the email problem, which is disgusting that she's able to, because other people have, for doing far less, have had very, very major consequences. It's been terrible, but it's probably going to be Hillary. So how do you run against the Democrat, whoever it may be, and you have this hanging over your head if they bring a lawsuit?
That's classic Trump.
That is great.
Look, I'm not saying it. I don't know the answer, and oh, by the way, this is a big problem. It's hanging over your head.
But here's the thing.
That's what he did with Carson. When Carson bubbled up to the surface, he's a Seventh-day Adventist. I'm not saying that's bad or good. I just don't know what that is. It's
means.
Strange. Is that a problem? I don't know. Maybe you should look into it. Maybe it's a problem. It's hanging over his head.
But listen to this. Trump was singing a completely different tune 4 months ago when Jonathan Karl from ABC News caught up with him.
Do you still think he's ineligible to be president because he was born in Canada?
No, from what I understand, everything is fine. I hear that it was checked out by every attorney and every which way, and I understand Ted is in fine shape.
Yeah,
this is what Trump does. This is part of his campaign strategy for him to stay in the news cycle.
Well, no, but also, you know why the different answer from 4 months ago to today is because of where Ted Cruz is in the polls.
Right. He's
from today versus 4 months ago.
Yeah, he doesn't like losing.
I think it's a problem for him. And he's a person I like a lot. He's a friend of mine. I think he's a really nice guy. I've gotten to know him a little bit. But I think if he's born in Canada, it's a problem.
Yeah, okay.
Flip-flopping.
So Ted Cruz is a bit of a constitutional scholar.
Smartest man running for president.
Yeah, he's got this issue sussed out pretty well. So why don't we just put it to bed real quickly with 40 seconds of Ted Cruz.
As a legal matter, the question is quite straightforward and settled law that the child of a U.S. citizen born abroad is a natural-born citizen. People will continue to make political noise about it, but as a legal matter, it's quite straightforward. I would note that it has occurred many times in history. John McCain was born in Panama, but he was a natural-born citizen because his parents were U.S. citizens. George Romney, Mitt's dad, was born in Mexico when his parents were Mormon missionaries, but he was a natural-born citizen because his parents were citizens. And actually, Barry Goldwater was born in Arizona before Arizona was a state, and yet he was a natural-born citizen because his parents were citizenship.
Barry Goldwater is old.
Garrett in Arizona is young,
And
at
he's
least as
dead.
a member of the 50 states. Yes. Yes, he is. Man, stop piling on Barry Goldwater. Charlotte,
Love
Arlington
that
Heights.
Sky Harbor Airport.
Charlotte and Arlington Heights are in Chicago's morning.
Hi,
answer.
Ted Cruz has also promised to reverse all of Barack Obama's illegal executive orders. That might upset the president's spokesperson, Ernst.
That could be
Good
part
point,
of it, too.
Charlotte.
Thanks for the call, Charlotte.
We call him Flipper, Flipper. You'll see him smile.
This is the morning show more Chicago radio listeners are choosing. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Townstone Financial is synonymous with great rates, low closing costs, and phenomenal service to the thousands who have completed purchases and refinances with us since 2002. Hi, my name is Barry Sterner, owner of Townstone Financial. Let's hear about the Townstone experience from one of our customers.
My name is John Serlick. I'm a trial lawyer in Chicago. In all of the refinances that we've done over the years, I've never paid any closing costs. Townstone has borne 100% of all closing costs associated with all refinances. Barry and Zach Schwartz called me up when rates would go down and opportunities to have better interest rates arose. Barry and Zach were always there to call me and to prompt me that now would be a good time to refinance without me having to go to them.
Remember, nobody values your business more than Townstone Financial, and I'm always available to answer your questions. Call me now, Barry Sterner, at 312-896-2111. That's 312-896-2111. Or go to townstone.com. That's TOWNSTONE.com.
Townstone Financials, Indiana, Michigan, Wisconsin, Florida, Illinois, mortgage licensee 6629 and NMLS 136639, equal housing lender.
Guess what? You could win a trip for two to Cabo San Lucas. We're heading there, and we want you to come with us. April 2nd through April 9th, Saturday to Saturday. We'll be staying at the beautiful, and I can't stress enough, this place is gorgeous. It's the Secrets Puerto Los Cabos Golf and Spa Resort. It's an all-inclusive, adults-only, all-suites resort that opened in December of 2013. It has 8 restaurants, 4 bars, cigar bars, lounges. They serve unlimited premium drinks. There's 24-hour-a-day room service. The resort has 2 sparkling pools and access to 3 miles of pristine beaches. Adjacent to the resort, 2 9-hole golf courses designed by Jack Nicklaus and Greg Norman. So join us in Cabo. Get more information and book your trip today. Do it today by visiting 560theanswer.com, keyword escape. Now, the price that Apple Vacations has secured for this trip is incredible and exclusive only to us, so don't miss out. Visit 560theanswer.com, keyword escape, and also you can win a trip for two to Cabo. Download the AM 560 The Answer mobile app, and you can register for a chance to win an all-expense-paid trip for two that we mentioned to that resort to be with us and have fun in the sun. Just click on the Enter to Win banner to register. The contest ends January 29th at 9 a.m., so good luck, or as they say in Mexico, buenas suerte. Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer, Chris Hogan's going to be here to talk about that Chicago Smart Money event. And if you're pregnant, we have a new device for you. Dan's going to explain. But first, let's go back into the newsroom. Here's Mike Scott.
Amy and Dan, good morning. Good morning, everyone. Clouds and 33 degrees. Some Americans may not have to cut back on eggs after all, and salt as much as they once thought they may have to, and eating lean meat is still okay. Watch that added sugar. The Obama administration's new dietary guidelines are being released today. They've backed off some of the stricter sodium rules included in the last version in 2010 while asserting that Americans still consume too much salt. The guidelines also reverse previous guidance on the dangers of dietary cholesterol and encourage the use of eggs. On the anniversary of the Charlie Hebdo terror attack in Paris, French President François Hollande is making it clear the terror threat continues to weigh on that country. Shortly after Hollande paid tribute to police officers killed in the line of duty, officers at a Paris police station shot and killed a man armed with a knife. Police say he was wearing a fake explosive vest when he attacked the station. Tensions ramping up between North and South Korea following the North's claim yesterday that it successfully conducted a hydrogen bomb test. Now South Korea says it will resume cross-border propaganda broadcasts. No one has claimed responsibility for a truck bomb in western Libya that killed at least 60 policemen and wounded 200. All 17 miners stuck in an elevator at the deepest salt mine shaft in the Western Hemisphere have been rescued. A Cargill spokesman says the last 2 miners have been raised to the surface this morning near the town of Lansing. The rescue ends an ordeal that lasted about 10 hours. The miners themselves were never in any real danger. The health care repeal bill that was passed yesterday by the GOP-led House now awaits President Obama's veto pen. It's no surprise the president will reject another effort to dismantle his signature health care law. Meantime, a Gallup Healthways well-being survey found in 2015 progress stalled significantly on reducing the number of uninsured Americans under the Affordable Care Act. Police in Zion say they fatally shot a man authorities believe was wearing a tactical-style vest, carrying a BB gun, and taking photographs of schools. Candidates for president have officially filed to get their names on the Illinois primary ballot. All major Republican and Democratic candidates have filed their nominating petitions and did so by Wednesday's 5 p.m. deadline. Chicago sports. The Blackhawks sweep a home-and-home with the Penguins, winning 3-1 last night. The news, a service of Teach and the Ad Council, and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Mike Gallagher explains the fanatical support of Donald Trump.
They think there's a guy who will finally do what he says he's going to do. Unlike Mitch McConnell, go down the list of failures, the refusal to defund Obamacare after promising they would. Over and over again, you know how let down Americans feel with the Republican Party.
The Mike Gallagher Show, weekdays at 9, right before Dennis Prager at 11 on AM 560. The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Papa Nicholas Coffee. Papa Nicholas, great coffee, period.
Hi, my name is Ed Bryant. You may have heard Dan Proft talk about me as Pastor Ed Bryant at thegunsafetyguy.com. I teach gun safety and defense classes, but they can't save us from our own mortality. So as a pastor, I teach the class that means the most to me and makes everything else look trivial. I'm talking about my class on basic biblical Christianity. We take a subject-by-subject tour of the Bible and examine such questions as, is there a God and how do we know? And what distinguishes Christianity from other faiths and from just being spiritual? And the main question, how can this Jesus born in Bethlehem really deal with our mortality? We connect the birth of Christ with his death and resurrection and ultimately face the question, is it true? Sign up for an introductory session on Thursday evening, January 21st at St. Timothy Lutheran Church in Lombard. For more info, go to sttimothy.org and click on the Basic Biblical Christianity icon. Again, that's SAINT Timothy.org.
It is 8:35. The news, a service of Boys and Girls Clubs of America. It's 3 p.m. School's out for America's kids, and when school's out, clubs are in. It's time to support the Boys and Girls Clubs. Visit greatfutures.org. Let's get an update on the roads in our ChicagoRadioDeals.com traffic center. Very latest on that morning commute with Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. The outbound Edens delays are pushing farther out. It's slow now between Toohey and Tower Road. 34 minutes is the travel time from Montrose to Lake Cook. Inbound is 20. Inbound Kennedy, delays start at Lawrence. 42 minutes O'Hare to downtown. 30 from Montrose, 28 on the Express. The Ohio feeder's backed up. Outbound 28 minutes downtown at the airport. Delays are from Montrose to Sayre. Inbound Eisenhower, 52 minutes. Thorndale to downtown. 37 from Manheim. Outbound 32 to Thorndale. Stevenson, 54 minutes. 355 to Lakeshore Drive. It's fine outbound. The Rhine is 32 minutes. 95th to downtown. Lakeshore Drive has southbound delays from Wilson to Fullerton. Northbound Tri-State heavy at 290. Eastbound Adams tollway sluggish. Roselle to 53. The other tollways are good. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte, AM 560. The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the AirComfort.com Weather Center. 80 years of quality mechanical solutions for your business. Considerable clouds, maybe a shower, high 36. Rain and drizzle expected overnight and a low of 34. 33 at O'Hare. Next news at 9. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560. The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by the Art House Gallery, putting cash in your pocket for your valuables. Call 847-865-9252.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy. Amy, coming up on Tuesday, this coming Tuesday, January 12th at Willow Creek Church, we got Chicago Smart Money event, first live event ever in Chicago, featuring our colleague Dave Ramsey.
Brother in sound, we call him.
That's exactly. And Chris Hogan.
ChrisHogan360.com. Chris Hogan is the author of a new book, Retire Inspired, which is released next week. So Ramsey and Chris Hogan are bringing their Smart Money Tour to Chicago next Tuesday at Willow Creek Church, and we're looking forward to that event and learn a little bit more about what Chris Hogan and Dave Ramsey are going to be talking about. We're efforting Chris Hogan. Well, do we have Chris Hogan now? We got him? Okay.
Yep.
Hey, and the aforesaid author, Chris Hogan, joins us now. Chris Hogan, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Well, thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be with you all.
So next week's event, you're going to talk about your new book, but there's something that you need to define for us maybe in advance a little tease. You say that everybody needs to identify their RIQ, their Retire Inspired Quotient. What is that?
Well, the first thing is retirement's not the end. When you start to look at this, it has nothing to do with your age. It has everything to do with your financial number. So you knowing your financial number gives you something to aim at and to reach for. And so the RIQ, the Retire Inspired Quotient, I wanted to boost everyone's IQ on retirement. And so there's a free tool on my website, the RIQ, ChrisHogan360.com, that allows you to understand how much money are you going to need to live your dream, and then what do you have to do to get there.
So you say it's time to live more and worry less. Who should I? If I attend this event, I'll learn how to create a plan for my retirement?
Well, absolutely, Amy. Listen, this Smart Money event has been a blast. Dave and I did it all last year. We're excited to come and help people understand a plan that has helped millions of people around the world get out of debt, stay out of debt, and learn how to take more control of their money.
And so what are the mistakes that people make? You talk about retirement being not an age but a number. What are in addition to that, thinking about I'm going to retire at 65 or I want to retire by 55 or whatever it is, in addition to that, what are the mistakes people make trying to get to that number?
Well, I think it's first not understanding what it entails. We're not talking about just getting to the point where you're sitting on the front porch. We're talking about you living your dream, doing the things you've always wanted to do. And so a lot of people mistakenly think Social Security is going to save the day. And when you start to look at this, and I explained it in the book, that Social Security is not going to save the day. It's the icing on the cake, but it's not the cake itself. It won't be enough. Then people aren't having a plan. They don't know what steps to take and when to take them. And so I wanted to lay that out for everyone so people can start to wake up and really understand really what's at stake right now.
So should you focus more on getting rid of your debt first before you start saving for retirement, or do them congruently?
Amy, you're absolutely right. You definitely want to focus on getting out of debt because debt is a thief. Like, think about that. It steals away from your income. It takes away your money and it becomes their money at the mall or the sporting goods store. So at the Smart Money event, we're going to help you understand exactly what debt is, how to attack it, and how to get it out of your life so you can get your money back.
So I should stop paying for my mortgage with my credit card? Is that what you're saying?
Well, listen, hey, I don't want you to have credit cards because remember, interest that you pay is a penalty. Interest that you earn is a reward. So I don't want you to build don't build the credit card company's legacy anymore. I want you to build your own, Dan. So I want you to I'm going to show you how to attack that mortgage and get it out of your life when we get to Chicago on Tuesday, January 12th.
Nice.
But you need a credit card, though, in order to have some form of credit for a credit report to buy a mortgage or to get a car loan.
Well, Amy, that's the thing. I spent 12 years as a banker and in that industry, and then now being here. So I've got over 20 years dealing with money. And here's what I figured out. When you have a credit score, what it does is it identifies how much debt you have, how well you've paid the debt, the likelihood that they're going to give you more debt, and the types of debt that you have. Did you hear a theme in there? It was debt.
Yeah.
And so what I want people to do is to kind of wake up and look at this so you can see it for what it is. See, too many people are being taken advantage of by the whole credit card, credit score game. I want people to understand how money works so they can make it work for them.
You know, a lot of people have seen their real incomes kind of stagnate over the last decade, maybe even a little bit longer. And if you're a middle-income person, with the cost of living in a place like Chicago, the surrounding area, it's difficult to squirrel away money to get to that, out of every paycheck, to get to that number that you want to get your RIQ. Any tips, advice, walkthrough on that challenge?
Well, listen, people in America are working hard. There's no doubt about it. The cost of living is going up, and there are more and more challenges with people trying to raise families, get kids to school, and even taking care of maybe aging parents. So the pressure is there. What people need to understand is the process and how they begin to work free from that. How do you set up yourself for 2016 to be better and different than 2015? And that's what we're going to walk through at the Smart Money event. You will walk out of there with a plan. There's nothing else you need to buy, but you're going to walk out of the Smart Money event with Dave and I understanding exactly what steps to take and when to take them.
So I've been putting off saving a little bit on my retirement because I'm trying to bulk up my son's college fund.
Well, and you know
and I'm
what?
almost there, but that's, you know.
And she's trying to get a government job so she can get one of those 7-figure pensions.
Well, listen, definitely when you want to, as a parent, you definitely want to help your kids go to school. But here's the thing. It's a 50-50 chance on whether your kids go to school and graduate. There's a 100% chance you're going to have to retire at some point. So what I would do, Amy, if I were sitting down coaching you, I would say, okay, listen, we want to definitely be putting something toward retirement, and then let's put some toward college savings. But I want to help expand the other options for your kid to get money for school.
Do you think it would teach him financial responsibility if I had him pay for half of his college? I mean, I didn't have my entire tuition paid for. I worked through college and then paid off student loans for a few years after graduating.
Amy, I couldn't agree with you more. I mean, I didn't have my parents pay anything for school. And so I had some skin in the game, so to speak. I was serious about this thing. Here's what I want you to do. Bring your son to the Smart Money event. We'll get you a ticket, and we'll walk through this thing. And I'll talk with you when you're there because there are some nuances and steps that everyone out there is struggling with, and we're going to show them how at the Smart Money event.
Let me tell you something, though, Chris Hogan. Let me tell you something. Amy is never going to retire. She's coming out of the studio feet first. She is lashed to the mast in this studio. She is not going to retire, at least until her kids become professional basketball players, and then we can retire in the kind of style that we want.
So we'll get an academic scholarship if you can't get an athletic scholarship.
Well, and that's exactly right. There are options out there for going to school. And here's the thing. I love what I do as well, and I don't see myself stopping. But when you are prepared for retirement, you give yourself options.
Yeah.
And you also set yourself up to pass on a legacy to your kids and even your grandkids one day.
You know, I'm already starting to look now into possible scholarships. If they're an acolyte at our church, there are scholarships for students, believe it or not. And also, too, there's a big push on rowing to get rowing scholarships. They said that there's a lot out there for male rowers.
Hey, absolutely. There are all kinds of options out there. But I like the fact that you're looking for scholarships now. And here's the key. You've got to apply for those at the right kind of time. So you doing your homework now will give you that information so you can be ahead of any kind of scholarship deadlines and give him an opportunity to qualify for that money.
He is Chris Hogan. The book, Retire Inspired, which drops on Monday. The event, Chicago Smart Money event, first live event ever in Chicago, is Tuesday, January 12th at Willow Creek Church, and it's featuring our friend Dave Ramsey and our new friend Chris Hogan. Yeah. The event, over 4,500 tickets already been sold, but there are tickets available. You can go to daveramsey.com or you can call 888-22-PEACE, 888-22-PEACE, P-E-A-C-E, and to get your tickets. And also, a little special announcement starting right now. We're doing a New Year's sale through this weekend. Use the promotional code WIND, our call letters, and get $20 off any ticket to this event. Chris Hogan, thanks so much for joining us, and good luck with the book.
Well, thank you so much. And, hey, I just want to iterate, I'm also going to have my first book signing in Chicago. We're going to have an opportunity to be at the Barnes & Noble on Westfield Old Orchard, 55 Old Orchard Shop Center in Skokie. You have an opportunity to win $2,000 just for being present. No purchases necessary.
And you put that $2,000 right to your retirement.
You better believe it or throw it towards your debt.
There you go. Chris Hogan, thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thank you for having me, my friend.
And also, too, you can win tickets right now. Isn't this ready?
Yeah.
Being caller number what? What number?
Well, I want millions of Americans listen to Dave Ramsey. Hi, Dave. For everyday advice on practical money management. You can hear his show every weekday right here from 7 to 10 p.m., of course. And Dave, as we mentioned, is going to be joined by Chris Hogan at Willow Creek.
I love Chris Hogan's voice, by the way.
Oh,
Isn't
it's a great
deep voice?
It's like Barry White quality.
It's mesmerizing.
I bet he sings almost as well as I do.
I bet he sings better than you.
Maybe. Willow Creek Community Church, South Barrington, this Tuesday, the 12th. And you can purchase them by visiting 560theanswer.com or, as I said, daveramsey.com. And you can win tickets right now by being caller number
12. Caller number 12, 312
Thanks, Emma.
312-642-5600. Caller number 12 will win 2 pairs of tickets to the Dave Ramsey, Chris Hogan event at Willow Creek Church next Tuesday, the 12th. Good luck.
That is the voice of God, sir.
The stories you need to know to start your day. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560, The Answer.
Should I do my weather in my Chris Hogan voice?
You should replace Morgan Freeman, do voiceover.
Considerable cloudiness. A shower in places this morning, a high of 36 degrees. Tonight, the fog enters the picture, and it will remain tomorrow morning. We'll have low clouds, fog, and light rain throughout the day, a high of 42. Any travel tie-ups, Jim Delamonte?
Amy and Dan, I'm not going to try to top that. It's slow on the inbound Kennedy, slow rowing, if you will, between Montrose and Ohio. 40 minutes O'Hare to downtown, 30 from Montrose, but 33 in the express lanes. They're slower with the Ohio feeder jammed. Outbound 28 minutes downtown to the airport. The Edens is fine inbound. Outbound, though, slow from past Toohey to Tower. 34 minutes Montrose to Lake Cook. The Eisenhower, it's 52 minutes Thorndale to downtown. Outbound 30 to Stevenson, 46 minutes, 3:55 to Lakeshore Drive. The Rhine 32 minutes, 95th to downtown. Southbound Lakeshore Drive has delays from Wilson to Fullerton. Tollways are fairly light. Adams Tollway eastbound a bit heavy, approaching 53. I'm Jim Talamonte, ChicagoRadioDeals.com Traffic Center.
Gentlemen, Dan Proft, every year you make New Year's resolutions, but you lack the energy and motivation to tackle them. Maybe it's caused by low T. Low testosterone levels can make you feel tired and less motivated to do the things you want to accomplish. If you've been feeling like a grumpy old man lately, it's time to get your testosterone level checked at Low T Center. It's quick, easy, and with their on-site lab, you'll know your results in minutes. I did. Plus, their services are covered by most health insurance. Low T levels can make you feel tired and irritable and can raise your cholesterol and cause weight gain. Low T Center's experienced medical staff will educate you on the benefits and the risks of testosterone replacement. Low T Center even has convenient and flexible hours. So start tackling your New Year's resolutions and call Low T Center today and tell them Dan Proft sent you. When you do, 630-409-4305. That number, 630-409-4305, or visit them online at lowtcenter.com. That's lowtcenter.com.
CertaPro are the experts in exterior painting, but now is the perfect time to paint your interior, refresh and renew your living space, and escape the winter doldrums. Hi, Amy Jacobson here, and I've used CertaPro several times to paint my home. They're fast, efficient, clean. CertaPro is easy to work with, so your life won't be disrupted by messy, inconsiderate contractors. They will move the furniture, and when they finish, they'll move it back. With their color specialist, CertaPro takes the stress out of choosing the perfect color. CertaPro painters, we do painting, you do life. Call CertaPro today at 1-800-GO-CERTA or visit CertaPro.com. 1-800-GO-CERTA, 1-800-GOCERTA. That's CERTA with the C. Book your winter painting project now. Schedule your free estimate today. CertaPro painters are locally owned and operated. 1-800-GO-CERTA, 1-800-GOCERTA. That's CERTA with the C.
This is Dan Proft with an upstream idea brought to you in part by the Illinois Opportunity Project. 97. That's the percentage of Chicago Teachers Union members who voted yes in a recent mock vote. Yes, they voted. They are prepared to go out on strike for the second time in 4 years. The annual average CPS teacher salary is just under $80,000. And that's before you include their health insurance benefits and guaranteed 7-figure pensions. The bankrupt, junk-rated Chicago public schools spend more than $15,000 annually per pupil. And yet 75% of 4th and 8th graders are neither proficient in reading nor math. This in a system of nearly 400,000 students. So who's the bad guy here? Is it the teachers union or the mayor's office? Yes, there are no white hats in the story of central planners from City Hall fighting with the central planners from the teachers union over who gets to be the lead central planner at CPS. If the teachers strike, they deserve to be unlocked from their jobs. CPS students deserve access to schools that will give them the opportunity to earn an education that sets them on a course for success in life. The only way that happens is if the adults inside CPS, the parents, and the adults outside CPS, state political leaders, change the flow of money away from central planners and to families so that they may make the same choices for their children that Tiny Dancer did for his kids matriculating at the University of Chicago Lab School. For more ideas like this, visit upstream-ideas.com. I'm Dan Proft.
Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues now. And make sure to stay tuned to catch me, Mike Gallagher, coming up at 9, only on AM 560, The Answer.
Oh, boy. Oh, boy.
Oh, be careful what you wish
Wow.
for, Dan Proft. Uh-huh.
Allison James, that's a good choice. I could see that on my playlist. Unfortunately, this entrepreneur beat me to market, and beat me to market was something I've been working on for a long time.
Yeah, wasn't this your high school science project?
It's the vaginal speaker.
Can I say?
Spanish company Baby Pod has invented a speaker that is designed to be inserted into the vagina, stimulating fetal development.
Can I say it? Songs from my vajayjay.
Oh.
What's on your playlist?
Vaginal. That's one of those words. It's just like, does it give you the creeps when you say it? It's like moist.
Yeah, and I have one, and I don't even want to talk about it. Okay.
Please don't. Babies learn to speak in response to sound stimuli, especially melodic sound. Baby Pod is a device that
it's disgusting.
Stimulates.
It's like a singing tampon.
It's a great band name.
I think
Baby Pod
turn myself into HR.
is a device that stimulates before birth through music. With Baby Pod, babies learn to vocalize from the womb. There's a handy dandy picture, dude. To see just where it goes and how it works.
Just so you know, I left that copy of the article on my desk, and my kids came home last night and they looked like, "Mom, are you pregnant? You're not pregnant. I don't think you can handle another one of us."
So 312-642-5600. What would be on your playlist for the vaginal speaker?
You gave me a homework assignment to see what songs are, because I've been pregnant twice, obviously, and have given birth.
Yeah.
What would be on their playlist?
Mm-hmm.
And I asked my kids yesterday, what songs would you want to hear? And Andrew said, "Mom, that's disgusting." And Russell said, "Well, I would love to hear the song Written in the Stars."
Why?
I don't know.
Got a text. Wasn't Nancy Pelosi the vaginal speaker? No, this is different. So I'm thinking.
What are you thinking?
How about "Hot in Here" by Nelly?
So lame.
How about "Don't Go Chasing Waterfalls" by TLC? No.
I was thinking the nice song "Baby, Baby, Baby" by Justin Bieber.
Baby, it's cold outside.
I was singing that earlier today. I don't know. I mean, I don't. They do encourage you, though. I mean, my gynecologist did encourage me to play soothing music on your belly and get a speaker and.
Yeah. Well, this is version 2.0. How about "Pretty on the Inside" by Hole? What do you think?
So disgusting.
Jim and Joliet, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Does Amy's have extra bass on her system?
Thanks for the call, Jeff and Gurney.
Good morning.
Hi.
Ironically enough, I think Tiny Dancer would be on the playlist.
Yeah, that's not bad. Yeah, that would be. That's good. That would be appropriate. You know where that would sound better if it was coming out of a vaginal speaker. Don't you think? Gunner and Winthrop.
Yeah, I think a good song would be "We Gotta Get Out of This Place" by the Animals.
You've made the switch, and it feels so good. You've switched to Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Christmas and the New Year are over. It's time to think a little about yourself. Maybe treat yourself to a MyPillow. I'm Joe Walsh, and I have slept better for years with MyPillow. If you've procrastinated, don't put it off. MyPillow is a premium pillow with 4 different loft levels that's customized to your individual preference. And for my listeners who use the promo code Joe, you'll get 2 MyPillows for the price of 1. It's MyPillow's best offer. It's so important. Get a great night's sleep. MyPillow helps with snoring, headaches, neck pain, insomnia, and allergies. Plus, it's washable, keeps its shape, and gives you support where you need it most. That's why it's the official pillow of the National Sleep Foundation. For this 2 for the price of 1 offer, visit MyPillow.com or call 1-800-489-0201 and use that promo code Joe. Do it now, 1-800-489-0201 or online at MyPillow.com. Promo code Joe, 1-800-489-0201.
My girlfriend just texted me, "Don't lose the string." Sorry, it's so disgusting. Okay, congratulations. We did it because of your generosity and support of our annual Feed the Children campaign. We were able to reach our goal of feeding over 18,000 children in Chicago this holiday season. And those are real families with real needs that we help to meet. And we especially want to thank the many business benefactors who've stepped up in a huge way. When you hear their advertisements on this station in the coming months, we encourage you to support them as a way of saying thanks for their generosity. And just because we met our goal in 2015, that does not mean that the need has gone away. Hunger is still a real challenge for thousands of families and children in our area. So please continue to support Feed the Children with a tax-deductible gift of any amount at any time by simply going to feedthechildren.org. And thanks again from all of us here at AM 560, The Answer.
The only defense between your family and another harsh Chicago winter is your roof. For 3 generations, the Lindholm family has been keeping Chicagoland homes safe and protected from the elements, even in the winter. They specialize in exterior needs from roofing, windows, brickwork, gutters, and siding. Start the new year off right by calling 888-4-ROOFER. That's 888-4-ROOFER. There's still time to inspect that roof or window before the ice, snow, and cold arrive. Roofing and windows can be installed in cooler weather, and most jobs can be done same day. So don't wait until you have an emergency on your hands. Call Lindholm Roofing at 888-4-ROOFER or visit lindholmroofing.com. Lindholm Roofing. Their family has your family covered. 888-4-ROOFER. Lindholm Roofing is a proud sponsor of Feed the Children.
Thanks so much for making us a part of your morning each and every day. Our thanks to David Stripling, Technical Director, and Cesar Perez, our Executive Producer.
Shake and bake. You can listen to this show on the Vaginal Speaker.
There's an app for that. Download the AM 560 mobile app today. Now let's go back into the newsroom and say good morning to Mike Scott.
Amy and Dan, the stories we're watching right now. Fox will have the very latest in a moment on 17 trapped New York miners rescued after being 800 to 1,000 feet underground for about 10 hours at a salt mine in New York. Everyone appears to be fine. The Bland family reacts to a Texas trooper's indictment and firing. We'll get the latest on that story. A man killed in a police-involved